Hi. Check. Good evening, everyone, and our apologies for the delayed start. Thank you to everyone for being a part of today's event. Really delighted to have you all here. About 17 years ago, when Anuradha and I were just fresh out of business school, and we were volunteering with social organizations on weekends. And one of the things that really struck us was that all these amazing initiatives happening at the grassroots level, they had to be documented. Because we just felt very strongly that if these stories were not told, it would be such a huge loss of very valuable knowledge. So we started, putting these stories up with a very naive optimism and hope that reading these stories would inspire other people to start their own movements of change. Cut to today, that one story we put up on a small blog is read by over 300 million people every month. But more importantly, we have today become the single largest archive of this nation's goodness. Together, we all here, our changemakers, our readers, our partners, we've all kickstarted a movement. And this movement shows that optimism is not naive. Optimism is a strategy for change. That hope is not a passive thing. Hope is a very active fuel for change. Thousands of stories written, billions of impressions consumed, countless initiatives sparked. And I think what we have shown to the world is one very simple truth. And that is that when you celebrate good, you accelerate that good. And that brings us to why we are all here today. The Better India Showcase is a celebration of change, and hence, it's an acceleration of change. This stage belongs to innovators and change makers from every corner of the country. It belongs to all of us who truly believe that India's true and the largest growth stories are going to come not only from our corporate boardrooms, but they're going to come from our villages, from our farms, from our communities, from our classrooms. And so today, I invite you not only to just listen to their stories, but I invite you to engage with our change makers. I invite you to get inspired. Because these stories are not just about them. These stories are about us. It is about what we all here can come together and build. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Better India Showcase 2025. Really glad to have you all here. I would like to now invite Anuradha to come and read out a very special congratulatory message that we have received from the Honorable Prime Minister of India for the Better India Showcase.
Good evening, everyone. This is a letter from the Honorable Prime Minister of India. Message: it is a pleasure to learn about the showcase event organized by the Better India. Greetings and best wishes for this commendable endeavor to showcase positive efforts by people from across the nation. When a nation's progress is being scripted by ordinary people doing extraordinary things at the grassroots, documenting such contributions spreads the same can-do spirit in others as well. When 140 crore Indians take one positive step each, India moves ahead by 140 crore steps. Such is the power of collective positive action. Appreciating and acknowledging different efforts further strengthens the spirit of collective action, making an impact on society and the nation. In this context, it is highly reassuring to see that the Better India constantly tries to showcase stories from across diverse domains such as agriculture, women-led development, education, health, technology, green growth, and environment. The next logical step is to bring together various change makers on one platform and inspire others. This showcase event is a good opportunity for that. May this program foster a vibrant, interactive dialogue among thought leaders, change makers, domain experts, policy makers, and other stakeholders. Best wishes to the Better India for its showcase event. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I would now like to invite Shri Amitabh Kant ji, who, of course, everyone knows him, and I would say that he's had one of the most significant impact in the course of the journey of this country. So please give a round of applause for Mr. Amitabh Kant.
Hemant and Anuradha, Hari, Debjani, Umar Ratnam, who's the main sponsor of the event, and all those who are change makers who've assembled here today. I've been following the story of Hemant and Anuradha myself for a long time, and they bring a lot of positive energy. They bring a lot of optimism, and they bring a lot of change makers right in the forefront of how transformation is taking place in this country. To my mind, they're the only people who bring positivity in such a unique manner of storytelling. And if India is to move from a $4 trillion economy to a $30+ trillion economy and become a Viksit Bharat by 2047, it can't be done by the government. Government can just be a facilitator, catalyst. It needs a lot of change makers at the grassroots level. And my own experience of the aspirational district program revealed to me that it needs a vast number of instruments of change who are doing radical transformational work in several areas. And it was a delight and a pleasure for me to see the stories of these change makers outside in sustainability, in water. These are huge challenges for India. So I would only say that storytelling is a very, very powerful way of communicating, and Hemant and Anuradha need to create many, many more clones of themselves so that this stories telling and this powerful way of Better India spread in many, many states of India. and I would take this opportunity of congratulating them for their truly outstanding work, for bringing so much of positive energy in India, and for highlighting the work all of you change makers. So congratulations on the good work. It's a real delight and a pleasure for me personally to be here, and I wish this journey of Better India all success, all glory, and continued as you continue to tell the story of grassroots transformation in India. Thank you very much. My compliments and all good wishes.
So Dimant is clearly not a journalist. He's more of an engineer. He doesn't remember to do a little bit of promotion for the Better India. So if we have your attention now, maybe we can play out this little surprise for you.
Real heroes. This is for them. Real heroes. This is for them. Real heroes don't trend, they plant the seeds, growing the nation's hope from their selfless deeds. Real heroes don't trend, they spark the flame, lighting blazing paths that don't fade in fame. Real heroes don't trend, they move the ground, no hashtags, just heart unsung, uncrowned. No blue ticks on the Insta, no flash bulb lights, but they turn deserts green and teach kids to write. They don't chase the noise, they amplify the lights, for they are the ones fighting the good fight. No crore deals, no red carpet flex, just 20 years of saving lives. Guess what's next? Slums to startups, farm to the hills. They are building a nation, not just viral thrills.
मोहल्ला या गांव वही बनाए ग्राउंड, जहाँ सिस्टम सोए वही बजाए साउंड. छोटी सी दुकान या बड़ा वाला ड्रीम, बिना फंड्स के बनाए स्टार्टअप सीन. साइकिल पे लाइब्रेरी लेके जो जाए, पहाड़ों में शिक्षा के दिए जलाए. ऑटो वाले भैया जो स्ट्रीट स्कूल चलाए, एक मजदूर की बेटी IIT पहुंच जाए. न ट्रेंडिंग में आए न नाम बनाए, पर इन्हीं के दम पे देश आगे बढ़ जाए. पर सुन लो दुनिया वालों, इन्हीं का टाइम आएगा, जिसने छुआ अंधेरा उसी का ग्लो छाएगा.
Real heroes don't trend, they plant the seeds, growing the nation's hope from their selfless deeds. Real heroes don't trend, they spark the flame, lighting blazing paths that don't fade in fame. Real heroes don't trend, they move the ground, no hashtags, just heart unsung, uncrowned. We ain't just media, we're a movement in disguise, dropping truth bombs that make the nation rise. From clean water hacks to zero waste schools, we pen the power in unheard roles. We are the better India, the voice of the kinds, of the dreamers, the doers, the ones left behind. No hate, just hope in every headline. We spotlight the heart and the grit that shines. The doc with no clinic, the farmer with a plan, turning impossible to yes we can. Kids coding in the dark to eco warriors brave, a village that said no and chose to save. No medals for the war, they fought in the dirt, just a million silent thank yous, that's their word. But tonight we're taking the stage, kicking open the door. Now watch them shine like never before. Stand up with us if you support their fight, for this is India's truest hype. Real heroes don't trend, they plant the seeds, growing the nation's hope from their selfless deeds. Real heroes don't trend, they spark the flame, lighting blazing paths that don't fade in fame. Real heroes don't trend, they move the ground, no hashtags, just heart unsung, uncrowned. And while the world scrolls past, we turn on the sound. This September 18, watch the lost get found. This is for them, the real heroes you don't see. Welcome to the Better India Showcase, India's largest celebration of changemakers.
I should be saying yo after that rap song. Thank you everybody once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Better India Showcase presented by Optum and supported by the M3M Foundation. A lot of hard work has gone on behind the scenes at the Better India to put together this showcase of India's most valuable change makers. Let's get you to have a small little look at that, please.
The Better India. A dream two people dared to dream together. They dreamt of a media that not only asked questions, but also searched for answers. 10 years of relentless effort turned this dream into reality, bringing us here to the stage that celebrates action, not just applause. Celebrates those changemakers who dare to do what others only dream, turning vision into impact and hope into progress. TBI Showcase, India's biggest celebration of change makers. Thousands of applications poured in. The internal jury debated for weeks. Every criterion, every sector examined closely. Some had been fighting for decades without giving up. Some had only just begun. But with an idea so powerful, it solved problems that had lasted for years. It wasn't easy to get here. To find these stories, to pick one pearl from this vast ocean of goodness. Every single one was a winner in their own right. Each story was so moving, it brought goosebumps. Each filled with struggle, yet shining with hope. Each one a hero. 45 nominees, 45 battles fought for a better India. And then came the grand jury, whose expertise made the impossible task possible. India's boldest minds choosing its bravest change makers. 10 leaders, visionaries in their fields, tasked with one mission, to recognize the individuals transforming India from the ground up. And after months of searching, debating and discovering stories of courage and grit, here we are.
9 voices,
9 visions,
9 reasons to celebrate.
India's largest
Celebration of change makers.
The Better India Showcase.
I think one of the lines that I really like a lot that the Better India uses is hope is the biggest headline. I think that's a really, really nice one. Now, just to let you know, how does somebody who's not a change maker get to host these events, or this event in particular? I basically held a gun to Dimant and Anuradha's head and I said, open challenge to anyone who can name more stories done by the Better India in the last 17 years. If anybody can beat me, they can have my job, okay? So the open challenge stays. Been a big fan and admirer of the Better India. Well done, guys. From the time that your journey started at business school, where you were clearly romancing a little bit more than you were studying business, I think you guys have come a really long way. They showed you a letter from the Prime Minister of India, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's spoken about them as well in his Mann Ki Baat. They've been invited to speak at Harvard Business School. They've had quite a few awards, Karnataka's second highest civilian awards, a big list of achievements, but you've already seen a little bit of that. Dimant, can I get you back on stage for this part where we are going to honor the people without whom this event or this day wouldn't have been possible? And
I just wanted to add, it's a fanboy moment for me. I grew up watching Sonali Chandar's sports program on NDTV many years. And so when she, many years ago, she started following us and she said, and I've been such a fan. And when she agreed to host this event, I think it was really the icing on the cake. Thank you, Sonali.
Agreed. Agreed means I held a gun to his head. And just to say that I know my former boss, Dr. Pranoy Roy's daughter is here, Tara. I just want to say, Pranoy is a real change maker for me, for having a team covering sport that was 80% women. So please do let him know that. One of the OGs of change makers. Dimant, I'd like to call upon now the jury, and like we said, the grand jury. The grand jury and the sponsors are what makes this possible. So can I please call on stage Dr. Prakash Amte and Dr. Mandakini Amte. They are Padma Shri awardees and Magsaysay award winners. Yes, while they're coming, maybe I'll just continue with the rest of the names. They are here, I think. Yes, they're here. Thank you so much. I'd also like to request Shashtant Patara, the Chief Executive of Development Alternatives, also known as Pat to many of his friends and admirers. I'd also like to call on stage Anshu Gupta, Magsaysay awardee, founder of Goonj and Gram Swabhiman. Anshu, yes, there is Anshu right over here. We've also got CVL Srinivas, the country manager of WPP. Sir, can we please request you to come on stage as well? M. Hari Menon, the director for South and Southeast Asia of the Gates Foundation. Sir, please come up on stage as well. Ms. Uma Ratnam Krishnan, managing director of Optum India. Ma'am, please do join us. Shantanu Naidu, general manager, head of strategic initiatives, Tata Motors, and founder of Motorpause, and founder of Goodfellows. Dr. Aishwarya Mahajan, managing trustee and president of the M3M Foundation, our supporting sponsors as well. And also like to call back Anuradha Parekh, co-founder of The Better India. Hemant, you have to give a small little token of your appreciation, which I do believe is a book. I hope you've autographed it. Photo ops right now, ladies and gentlemen, and just a small reminder, the Better India Showcase 2025, presented by Optum and supported by the M3M Foundation, is doing its bit for sustainability as well. All the handouts that you've got today are from recycled paper. We've got a tie-up with NDMC to make sure the food waste is disposed of responsibly. We have minimized single-use plastic. If you see any of it, please flag it to us. And we've also chosen an eco-friendly decor. Not sure what's the eco-friendly decor, but it is. Yes, and a loud, really loud, bringing the house kind of down applause for our grand jury. If we're done with the photographs, I'll request you all to come back turn by turn later. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Better India Showcase presented by Optum and supported by the M3M Foundation. We're going to get to our presentation ceremony now. Now, some of us who are a little older, I think we know that prayer, right? It goes something like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. But I don't think this prayer is such a thing with our young ones, because they believe the world can be changed and they're happy to do it. This isn't a prayer for them. So this category is young innovators who believe that they really can do anything and there's nothing that really stops them. And to present for this category, I'd like to call back on stage Shantanu Naidu, the GM, Head of Strategic Initiatives at Tata Motors, and also Jyoti Sharma, if she's here, the CEO of the NASSCOM Foundation. Shantanu needs a mic. So shall I get him a mic, or would you like to come over here? We'll just get a mic for Shantanu, if that works. Shantanu, you can come here as well till we figure out our mic issues. Whatever else changes, technology problems never change. By the way, Shantanu, some of us here are wearing real saris. It's not a trend. But sometimes you wonder about this news unless it appears on the Better India, whether it is real or AI generated, because he was quoted in the papers recently saying, why do you need to do a trend, right? Everybody's got enough saris. Shantanu, all yours. Take it away.
Very happy to be here, especially in this particular category, given that I'm not very young. It's a very big illusion, but happy to be associated with something regarding youngsters. I think the best thing that I like about the young generations today, be it Gen Z, And part Gen Z, part millennials, they all keep having those debates, what they belong to, doesn't matter. But my favorite thing about them is it is very difficult for them to separate purpose and profession. And this is no longer a generation who will have a profession for making bread and have a purpose on the side. It's a generation that unless there is a sense of fulfillment from what they're trying to do, they're not going to do it. Fortunately for us as a country, a lot of their purposes are aligned with fixing, growing, and developing this country. And the attitude they're taking in that space is rolling up their sleeves and doing the grunt work, which is exactly how change happens. And the whole not trending changemakers beyond what we see as sensationalized impact is happening because they're just busy with rolled up sleeves and creating impact. And that is something that is truly fueling the Atmanirbhar Bharat or Viksit Bharat, whichever schemes that the government sets forth as an opportunity, the true raw material and fuel is going to be this generation which can't separate purpose and profession. So I looked at as the jury member, I was so happy to see the kind of impact. Number one, I was happy to have not heard these names before, but I was even happier to see that their impact is far reaching than what any of us have heard about anyone else in this space. So I'm happy to be here and hand that over.
Shantanu. Yeah, you can clap. Shantanu, just a reminder of the nominations in this category.
+7,000 homes, 5 states, one ingenious bulb that never goes out. This is Uday Bhatia, a class 12th student who saw a problem. In rural India, power cuts last longer than the light. For 8 to 10 hours a day, dreams were left in the dark. So he built a solution inside the problem. Not just a bulb with an inverter inside. On his Delhi terrace, after 24 prototypes, he cracked it. A bulb that charges when power is on, and when the grid fails, it shines on, seamlessly switching to battery mode. For 10 hours straight, at just ₹250, a fraction of a traditional inverter. Today, from villages in UP, MP, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand to slums on Delhi's outskirts, over 15,000 families live in light. Students study, families work, vendors earn. All because of a bulb that outlasts the dark. This isn't just light. It's power. It's possibility. It's the future of Indian innovation. Shining bright.
Wow and wow. We have our first winner, Mr. Uday Bhatia. He's not here. I think he's studying in the US, if I'm not mistaken, but I understand his brother is here. Yash Bhatia is going to be here to take the award on his behalf. And can I please request Jyoti Sharma, CEO of NASCOM Foundation, to also join us? Yes, Shantanu, Jyoti, can all of you, yes.
So our aim is to make rural India better, and that's what Uday Electric is there for. We make an inverter bulb that costs just about 250 rupees, and in order to reach the rural part of India, we collaborate with NGOs, organizations that want to fulfill their CSR initiative. And we also do donations. That's how we reach rural India, and that's how we want to make India better and grow.
Thank you so much. And you've obviously been a good kid brother because you've let your older brother do a lot of work. Thank you so much.
Thank
Done
you.
with photos? Yeah? Thank you. Thank you, Shantanu. Thank you, Jyoti ma'am. I can get the mic back. Thank you so much once again, ladies and gentlemen. On to our next category, which is the woman change maker. Our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, just celebrated his 75th birthday with an announcement about a health initiative for women. This is just one of the many initiatives that have been taken by him and the government to empower women. Because as we all know, if you empower women, you empower entire communities. And that's why this change maker category is very, very relevant and important for us. And for more on this award, I'd like to call on stage Hari Menon, the Director South and Southeast Asia of the Gates Foundation, and Nisha Narayanan, if she's still here. She's the Director and COO of Red FM and Magic FM. Thank you, Nisha. Mr. Menon, please. Will join you for the presentation.
Thank you so much. Given the category, actually, Nisha should probably be doing the introduction as well. And in some ways, it feels a bit off to need to have women as a separate category. When we truly have a women-led society, I think we might be able to do away with this category. But for now, what we aim to do with this group of changemakers is really recognize and celebrate women who are trying to transform India, taking on a lot of the structural barriers that they unfortunately still face, and really are paving the way for what the Honorable PM's letter mentioned, women-led development. Women are 48% of our population. And there are estimates which say that if women had the equal opportunity to participate in the economy, the GDP for India this year would be about almost $800 billion more. So there is an economic imperative, of course, to enable this. But it's also a basic point about what kind of a world we want to see. Women in India have been an integral part of our freedom struggle, have been an integral part of governance, are now increasingly visible in business at the topmost levels. The MD of Optum, Nisha right here, role models such as Sonali. Because when women start to lead, we see a society transform. I've been working in development for 21 years, and one of the holy grail for anyone in development is, are there silver bullet solutions for human development challenges? The closest to a silver bullet that we can find is really empowering women and giving them economic agency, because that's the best way to ensure that households transform and children have a better future. So for us, the opportunity is changemakers whom you'll hear of today, creating the space for them to really take on this role of transforming and creating a better India for tomorrow. And I'm not just borrowing the brand name. I think women, when they get the power, the space, and the opportunity to lead, things are going to be better for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Menon. Nisha, you can grab the mic from him. We'd love to hear from you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Nisha and me go back a long way.
Yeah, we're coach evening scholars, Mr. Kant. So both of us were in the same batch. Good evening, everyone. I think I'll keep it very, very short. When we talk about leadership in women, unfortunately, we relate it to leadership to masculinity and aggression. And many a time, women have to live up to that aggression and masculinity. I think leadership is about embracing femininity as well. You can be completely feminine and still be a leader, and I think it should be accepted. And as society, we need to allow all spaces and all emotions to be there. Leaders cannot only be aggressive and masculine. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nisha and Mr. Menon. Please stay with us. Let's have a look at the nominees in this category for the Woman Changemaker of the Year.
$1.5 million jobs for women. One nuclear physicist who made it happen. This is Dr. Kalpana Sankar. She could have split atoms, but chose to shatter ceilings instead. It began in Kanchipuram, where she saw children weaving saris instead of dreams. She realized real freedom comes from economic independence. So she co-founded Hand in Hand India, built around one powerful unit, the Women's Self-Help Group. Teaching savings, enabling loans, building skills. From a mother starting a bakery to women running repair shops and sustainable farms. She didn't just give aid, she built ecosystems of dignity. The result? 10 million jobs for women, 5.5 million women in self-help groups, 500 villages uplifted. A grassroots revolution proving that when women rise, communities thrive. And it didn't stop in India. Her model has scaled to Cambodia, Afghanistan and South Africa, reshaping livelihoods across borders. Dr. Kalpana Sankar's journey is proof. One woman's vision can rewrite the destiny of millions.
Yes, can you come a little bit to the center for the photographers? Ma'am, you can come here.
I feel overwhelmed. I wish to thank Almighty, the sponsors and organizers for this nomination. I started my career as a nuclear scientist, but could not cope with the stress in the radiation field. So when I got an opportunity to work with children, I opted for it. We were a small NGO at that point in time, about 3 full-time people and a couple of part-time people. I've seen children working in looms, inhaling cotton dust, malnourished, voiceless, then realized that poverty was the causal factor. I'm a first-generation entrepreneur, took a loan for 5 lakhs in 2004 and set up 100 enterprises for mothers of children who were working in looms, child laborers basically. And Stanford interns came to evaluate and they said 90% of the enterprises were sustainable. That gave me a lot of confidence with the support from my family, from my co-founder Percy Barnabik, my board, my staff. We were able to scale up the initiative from Kanchipuram to 18 states in India and 5 countries. I acquired a small company in the year 2009. It was Belstar Microfinance Limited. Through Belstar and hand in hand, we have reached out to 11 million women in India and 50,000 people outside of India. So I feel looking back, I feel very honored and I feel happy that I've contributed in a small way to the economic development of our country. We have empowered the women not only through credit, but through digital training, through skill training, through marketing, and we have partnered with IITs, several business schools, and we have also developed training for graduated entrepreneurs. We actually have a 5-pillar program to tackle poverty, but the main focus was on women because we believe if women change, the extra income, whatever they get, they're able to influence the family and the society. When the women joined our movement, they were all using thumb impression, they were illiterate. Today, the children are doctors, engineers, and many of them are serving in CRPF and in Army. That gives me immense, I'm very proud of their achievement and whatever they have achieved. So it has not been very easy to reach here because in 2004, in the initial stages, men did not want to take instruction from me. I had to do an MBA at Triumph. That too, it was through a scholarship. That's why I could afford. And then a leadership training at East West Center that honed my skills. Today, I'm a much confident person. I feel overwhelmed today, and I feel grateful to all the stakeholders who have made this possible. Cumulative lending for the last 20 years is about 37,000 crores, and we have repaid all the loans on time and helped several women across the country to set up enterprises, starting from small bakery to some women employ about 50 people in garment also. Their growth they have a turnover more than a crore. So I'm very inspired by their journey. We have worked with nearly 30,000 farmers and 5,000 ponds across the country we have deepened. So my request to all the viewers and all the people who have assembled here, very proud to be born in India. And we have the rich-poor divide. We have pockets where poor people need help. Sometimes they lose their father and then they need some help for a scholarship to continue their basic education. Women need digital support to transact their business. I came across one Tulsi Bai in Rajasthan. She was from an Orthodox family. Her husband had died because of COVID. 7 people, they were hungry. We gave her tailoring training and then helped her with marketing. Today she goes in a scooty, earns about 20,000 rupees. It is easy to give grant, but to make them entrepreneurs and give them a life of dignity, hope and choice, I think that is the biggest thing we can do. I think all of us should be a part of the growth story of our country. I'm extremely grateful to TBI for showcasing my story. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Kalpana. That's truly a really inspiring story, from nuclear physicist to a social reformer who's created 1.5 billion jobs and given credit to 2.2 million women. Thank you so much, ma'am. Very, very deserving to be a woman change maker in the Better India Showcase, which is presented by Optum and supported by the M3M Foundation. On to our next category, which is a change maker in the sustainability sector. So now, what is the language that we all speak? When we begin to talk, we speak in ABC, right? But the ABC of the world is changing. It's no longer A for apple, B for ball, C for cat. It's now A for AI, B for border conflict, C for climate change, which means sustainability isn't just important, it's an absolute necessity if our children are to inherit a better earth from all of us. So I'd like to call on stage at this point of time Mr. Shashtant Patara, the Chief Executive of Development Alternatives. Sir, thank you so much for joining us once again. Also, Abhishek Jain, Fellow and Director, Green Economy and Impact Innovation at the Council on Energy, Environment and Water. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Can I get a mic for... Pat, all yours. I think it's working. No?
Thank you, Sonali. Thank you, The Better India. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to be here. The entire showcase journey has been exciting. I've been educated, quite frankly, having gone through the work that the nominees have done. If we look at the Sustainability Changemakers Award, I think the first question that might come to mind is, what do we actually mean by sustainability? And thank you, Sonali. I never thought that S could stand for sustainability. I start using it more and more now when we're running people through the alphabet. Viksit Bharat 2047 is a vision, and it needs to remain a vision and not a dream. And it's a vision that needs to be turned into reality, not simply by building more roads, more infrastructure, economic growth, GDP above 7, 8, or even 9%. But Viksit Bharat, in the true sense of India being developed and being sustainable, also needs to look at rivers, rivers that are not running dry or flooding uncontrollably at times. Viksit Bharat needs to look at livelihood security for everyone in the country. And I think more than anything else, Viksit Bharat needs to look at opportunity. And what I found remarkable about the changemakers that you'll see honored here tonight, all of them, not just the winners, is that they saw opportunity. They saw opportunity to make change, and I think are unique in their ability to also understand that sustainability is multidimensional. It's complex. You cannot work on just one thing alone. In fact, the way in which you define the challenge or you define the problem is actually where the solution begins from. And I hope you'll see that in their work, as in the work of hundreds, probably thousands of other people that we haven't been able to recognize yet. And in that regard, I'd really like to congratulate the Better India for having done so. As an organization that's obsessed with impact, with sustainable development, I think we're truly indebted to change makers who light that spark, who innovate, who show us how things can be done. Thank you very much once again, and my congratulations to all the nominees.
Yeah, we can have a look at the nominees now.
In the heart of Rajasthan, he grows forests with just 1 liter of water per tree. This is Sundaram Verma. For over 30 years, in the dry sands of Sikar, he's been doing the impossible. Trees that survive on a single liter of water.
मैं हर दिन मैं हर हफ्ते केवल 1 लीटर के अलावा पूरी जिंदगी में पेड़ को पानी नहीं देना है.
The secret? Pure genius. He doesn't just plant a tree. He prepares a hidden bank account for it. During the monsoon, he deep plows the land, trapping millions of raindrops deep underground. The roots dive down, finding that stored moisture, learning resilience from day one. From a single breakthrough in 1985 to over 60,000 trees today, on track to reach 2 lakh trees by 2025. That's over 900,000 liters of water saved, equivalent to 200 million liters, assuming 1,000 liters per tree over 3 years. And a method now transforming farms in India's driest regions But his revolution doesn't end with trees. He's also preserving over 700 native seed varieties, millets, mustards, cottons, drought-proof, life-giving and vital for our future. Sundaram Verma isn't just planting forests. He's planting food security, biodiversity and resilience for generations to come. In a nation where every drop is a battle, he reminds us, the answer isn't more water, it's more wisdom.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Sundaram Verma. He's here. Louder. You can make it a little louder. You can do better. I know we haven't had dinner yet, but you can surely make it a little louder. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can I request you to come to the Can I request all of you to come a little bit to the center? A little bit to the center. इधर आ।
1972 में विज्ञान से स्नातक परीक्षा पास की। उस समय टीचर्स के लिए डायरेक्ट अपॉइंटमेंट होते थे। मेरा 3 बार अपॉइंटमेंट हुआ, मैंने ज्वाइन ही नहीं किया। मैंने खेती का धंधा शुरू किया और जो समस्याएं आती हैं उसके प्रति जागरूक रहा। राजस्थान की विषम परिस्थिति में जहां पानी पीने के लिए भी उपलब्ध नहीं है, वहाँ के लिए एक प्लांटेशन टेक्निक तैयार की जिसमें पौधे को पूरे जीवन काल में केवल 1 लीटर पानी की ज़रूरत होती है और पौधा बिना पानी के पनपता है, ऐसा नहीं है। जैसे दिल्ली में 600 mm बरसात होती है, इसका मतलब ये है कि हर वर्ग मीटर पर 600 लीटर पानी बरसता है। एक पौधा 10 से 20 वर्ग मीटर जगह घेरता है, तो इसका मतलब ये है कि हर साल एक पौधे के चारों ओर 6000 से लेकर 12000 लीटर पानी बरसता है, ज़मीन में अवशोषित होता है। उसको हम कंजर्व करते हैं कि ज़मीन में वो कैसे रहे। अब तक इस साल तक हम 2 लाख पौधे इस तकनीक से लगा चुके हैं और पिछले 2-3 सालों से हम हर साल अब 50,000 के आसपास पौधे लगा रहे हैं। प्रधानमंत्री जी का कहना है एक पेड़ माँ के नाम। हम चाहते हैं कि हम इतने पेड़ लगाएं कि जो कोई गिनती ही नहीं कर सके, क्योंकि पानी तो 1 लीटर ही देना है और हम इस काम में लगे हुए हैं। हम स्कूलों में लगाते हैं ताकि बच्चों को इस तकनीक का पता चले, पर्यावरण के प्रति जागरूकता हो। पंचायत की ज़मीनों में लगाते हैं ताकि गांव वालों को इस तकनीक का प्रशिक्षण मिले और हरियाली फैले। हम गौशालाओं में लगाते हैं ताकि गोवंश को छाया और चारा दोनों मिले। इसके साथ में इस साल हमने 50,000 पौधे लगाए हैं। पिछले साल तक हम 1,60,000 पौधे लगा चुके थे। आप कल्पना करो कि करीब 1,160 मिलियन लीटर पानी बचाया है। राजस्थान में इतना पानी बचाना बहुत मुश्किल है, बहुत बड़ी बात होती है। और हर वर्ष ये पौधे 413 मिलियन पौंड हर वर्ष ऑक्सीजन वातावरण में देंगे और 7.6 मिलियन पौंड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का अवशोषण करेंगे। तो इतना अगर हमें मिलता है, 1 लीटर पानी से रेगिस्तान हरियाली में बदलता है, तो हमें इसमें काफ़ी प्रयास करना चाहिए और हम इस तकनीक का उपयोग ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा दूसरे राज्यों में भी करना चाह रहे हैं। हजारों लोग जिसमें किसान है, अधिकारी है, वैज्ञानिक है, स्टूडेंट्स हैं, इस तकनीक को देखने के लिए आ रहे हैं और अपने अपने गाँव में प्रचार प्रसार करने में लगे हुए हैं। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. Thank you. बहुत मेहरबानी, sir. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Just to reiterate, the Better India Showcase, presented by Optum and supported by the M3M Foundation, is doing its bit for sustainability as well. We're a wheelchair access friendly venue, I think. Even the stage as well, I can't see that part. We've got this lovely lady helping us with International Sign Language. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we've got a host of little measures. Yeah. You can clap. Eco-friendly decor. Try not to waste your food, but if you do, we'll make sure it's recycled responsibly. Thank you so much once again. Okay. So, when we raise a toast, what do we normally raise it to? Anybody? Anybody? I can't hear over here. When we raise a toast, what do we normally raise it to? To health. Thank you. Why do we raise it to health? Because they say that pretty much everything else money can buy, right? So we know how important health is for all of us, and therefore this category for the Changemaker of the Year in the health category is a really important one. And for this, I'd like to call upon our presenting sponsor for the Better India Showcase, Uma Ratnam Krishnan, Managing Director of Optum India. Ma'am, please join us on the stage. And Anindya Datta, Vice President and Head, Brand Marketing and External Communications, Optum Global. We have to check if the mic is working. So far it's not been behaving itself very well.
It's an honor to be here today. Healthcare is not just about hospitals, medicines, and just getting the right doctor at that time to cure whatever condition you have. It's actually about hope, access, dignity, and living a much healthier life. The Changemakers we are celebrating today are an embodiment of how they can actually save lives and transform people's futures. At Optum, the mission that's really close to our heart is helping people live healthier lives and making the health system work better for everyone. So this category is particularly close to our hearts. And when I actually see the people that are the nominees in this category, they are innovators, have shown resilience, they have been where nobody else has dared to go, all to make a difference and provide better healthcare access and better outcomes. So we are truly honored to actually recognize these change makers, and we are committed to helping support and amplify their work and helping them rewrite healthcare history, healthcare capability in India as we go forward. So congratulations to all of them, truly inspiring stories and the difference they're making in helping people live healthier lives.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And we can have a look at the nominees right now in this category. People who actually save lives, make our health a lot better. Nominees, please.
prestigious city job to build a free cancer hospital in rural Assam, a lifeline for thousands. This is Dr. Ravi Kannan. In the 90s, Assam's Barak Valley faced a cruel reality. Cancer rates were high. The nearest treatment was a grueling 24-hour journey. For many, a diagnosis meant a death sentence. Dr. Kannan saw not despair, but purpose. He moved his entire family, trading comfort for a mission to bring equality cancer care to the forgotten. What began as a small clinic became a revolution. He noticed patients never returned. Why? Because treatment cost them more than money. It cost them their livelihood. So he rewrote the rules. Home visits, satellite clinics. No one turned away. Treatment free or subsidized. Nutrition, accommodation, even transport provided. Over 70,000 patients treated, a beacon of hope for the Barak Valley. His modest clinic grew into a world-class hospital built on compassion and relentless service. Today, it thrives with national and international support, and its model is being studied for replication across India. Because one man's choice to serve can rewrite the destiny of thousands.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can applaud for him, though he unfortunately is in Manila, but sent us a lovely video message. Ma'am, sir, please stay. We can hear the video message, and he also has a representative, I believe, who will collect the award on his behalf.
So,
we can hear him.
my apologies to all of you and to TBI Showcase once again for not being here. And the message that the thought that I want to leave all of you with is that together, we can face any challenge. Together we can beat all the odds and make sure that we leave the planet, leave our communities better off than how we found them. We can actually make this place a much better place for our children and grandchildren. Once again, please accept my apologies for not being there this evening.
Thank you. I believe Mr. Arunava Bhattacharya is here to receive the citation on behalf of Dr. Ravi Kannan. And I think there's one line that Dr. Ravi Kannan uses a lot. He said, nobody should have to sell their land to afford chemotherapy. Loud round of applause, please. Thank you, Arunava, for accepting the citation on his behalf. Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
What we do, many people do. But thank you for choosing us to be the award winner. And I just wanted to tell one story. Because it is all about storytelling. So when I joined in 2014, so there was a patient, I won't disclose the name. He had a testicular cancer, which is very much curable, but they did not have the money. So my job primarily is to organize funds where there is a need for the patient treatment. So we somehow managed, and the surgery happened, and he was recovering. So one day I was walking through the corridor, and I was seeing he has his wife who was about 26 years of old, and he was about 30 years of old. There was some tussle going on in between the couple, which was very unusual, and I wanted to understand what was happening, because they were like do jism ek jaan, so they are very affectionate to each other. So the patient was mum, and the lady was saying nothing. But I was not sure, something was So I went back when the patient was alone. And I just checked what happened. Some fight was going on. So what he disclosed is that my food is free. For in our hospital at that point of time, food for the patient was free. But my wife is starving for 2.5 days because she doesn't have money. And that was the fight that I told her, you take half of it, at least you won't, your stomach, something will go into your stomach. And she was arguing that if you take the half of the food, you will take longer time to recover. So I was into some corporate world and I just joined because I had to go back to my home place in Silchar. And I was in confusion that where I'm heading towards. Am I joining or going to the right place? But this incident shook me. I was in jittery and ran back to Kannan sir. And from that day, we made the patient and his caregiver food is free. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Congratulations once again to Dr. Ravi Kannan, who unfortunately couldn't be here because he's in Manila. But that was our Health Changemaker category. Okay, so who remembers Krishi Darshan? Everybody? Right, I think longest running show on Doordarshan, right? Because we were all taught from very early on in our textbooks, India is an agrarian economy. But some of us who are city folks, we now struggle with those questions from our children. Where do eggs come from? But of course, from the fridge, right? We've heard that before with our children. And this is a true story. I actually know a city dweller who once told me, she said, I have no idea, or I had no idea, that a cow needs to have a calf to be able to give milk. So I said, what did you think? She said, I thought that cows eat grass and they give milk. So, you know, we're a little far removed sometimes from this agrarian economy or country that we are, because we live in cities now, we don't know how hard it is to grow our food. But this category of agri-change makers is a really, really important one, because if there is no food, there is nothing. There are no other categories at all. So to present this citation, or to talk about this part of the show, I'd like to call on stage Meeta Makhan, the co-founder of Do Undo Services Private Limited, and Dr. Aishwarya Mahajan, the managing trustee, and Aishwarya Mahajan, I beg your pardon, managing trustee and president of the M3M Foundation. Can I request both of you to please come on stage? Yep. You can all clap. Yep. Sorry, I think Meeta is not here, so you can grab her time as well.
Okay. So I was not supposed to, I was not sure. Anyway, first of all, this Better India platform for change makers is something I think we discussed, and we have something to announce later. So I don't want to get into more of this thing for this particular category. Which category?
This is the agri category.
Agriculture category.
And we'll get you to make that special announcement a little later.
Yes. So I'll keep that special announcement for later. And this for agriculture. So being India, the agriculture economy, we are, the innovations which now are taking place. And अब जो टैरिफ वेरिफ का चक्कर चल रहा है उसके चलते तो मुझे लगता है कि हमें अपने एग्रीकल्चर इकोनॉमी को और स्ट्रॉन्ग करना ही पड़ेगा जो हम कर रहे हैं. And looking forward for the nominations. And I was part of the jury. I've seen the quality of applications we were there, and happy to see who is going to win this battle. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
He walked away from a life of lacks to grow something priceless, hope. Meet Abhishek Kumar from Barauli, Bihar. Once a banker with a secure city job, he saw a painful truth: farmers abandoning fertile lands for grueling, low-paying city work. So he made the boldest swap of his life, his desk for his ancestral farm. But this wasn't a step back, it was a leap forward. Abhishek introduced Bihar to its first Gerbera flower farm, cultivated medicinal plants like lemongrass and giloy, and soon began earning rupees 15 lakh a year. Yet, his greatest wealth lay in the impact he created. He shared his knowledge building systems that transformed rural farming. From polyhouses to soil nutrition to floriculture, he sowed the seeds of modern agriculture. Today, he mentors over 2 lakh farmers across India, leads 95 farmer-producer organizations, and ensures profits go directly into the hands that grow our food, cutting out middlemen. He even launched a village-made specialty green tea, Teeter. Abhishek's journey proves farming isn't just heritage. It's India's most powerful opportunity. By choosing the soil over the city, he didn't just cultivate crops, he cultivated a movement of prosperity and pride.
Abhishek Kumar. Is Abhishek Kumar here? Yes, I can see him coming up. Yeah, you can keep clapping. No better feeling in the world than to be clapped for, to be appreciated. Thank you so much. The citation, please. Photos, you can take the photos right now.
मैं अभिषेक कुमार बिहार के एक छोटे जिले औरंगाबाद से हूँ। इंस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट जिसका नाम है, सत्य यही है कि कई परिस्थितियों से जूझता हुआ जिला, और मैनेजमेंट की पढ़ाई करने के बाद जब मैं पुणे में था तो मैंने सिक्योरिटी गार्ड को बहुत ही बुरे हालात में देखा। तो मुझे ऐसा लगा कि जो भी सिक्योरिटी गार्ड हैं, इनफैक्ट मैं जिस होटल में रुका हूँ बेटर इंडिया के सहयोग से, वहाँ का भी गार्ड हमारे बगल के जिले का है, और सबके पास 1 एकड़ 1.5 एकड़ की ज़मीन रहती है। वो ढंग से सो नहीं पाते, ढंग से रह नहीं पाते। तो मैंने डिसाइड किया कि बिहार चलते हैं और ऐसा कुछ करते हैं ताकि इनकी ज़िंदगी अच्छी हो जाए। लेकिन वो एक ऐसा राज्य है जहाँ बिना मॉडल के अगर आप सिर्फ बातें करते हैं तो बात करने वाले लोग भरे हुए हैं, कोई सुनता नहीं है। अभी भी हम लोग को 70-80 साल के बुजुर्ग से वो सुनना पड़ता है कि आप क्या खेती सिखाएंगे। अगर ये पहनावा पहन के चले गए तो बोलते हैं कि लगता भी नहीं है कि आप किसान हैं। तो जरबेरा खेती करनी थी, क्योंकि पुणे में मैंने तलेगांव चाकन हाईवे के दौरान उसे देखा था, और एक छोटे से एरिया में वो बहुत अच्छा कर सकता था। मेरे गांव में बिजली नहीं थी, जनरेटर पे शुरू हुआ, और एक वक्त तो मेरे फादर ने भी बोला कि अब क्या सोना उगाओगे। लेकिन वो दौर था जब जरबेरा से कहानी लीलियम और ऑर्किड तक पहुंची। 14 में बिहार कृषि विश्वविद्यालय ने मुझे सबसे पहले सम्मान दिया, और 16 में मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी के हाथों कृषि रत्न से इसी दिल्ली में पुरस्कृत हुआ। उसके बाद ये स्थिति बनी, मुझे लगा सिर्फ अकेले चलना ठीक नहीं है। उस समय एपीओ का दौर चल रहा था, फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की बातें हो रही थी। वित्त मंत्री जी अरुण जेटली जी ने संसद में कहा था कि हम इसको 5 साल के लिए टैक्स से मुक्त करते हैं। हमारे पास कॉरपोरेट का अनुभव था, ठीक ठाक सीख गए थे मैनेजमेंट। तो मैंने यूपी, उड़ीसा, मध्य प्रदेश, महाराष्ट्र के पीओज और किसानों को सिर्फ एक दूसरे से जोड़ने का काम किया। उनको मैंने बर्ड में, जब मुझे एक दिन महसूस हुआ, नाबार्ड के चेयरमैन थे और तत्कालीन कृषि सचिव बैठे थे, और एक किसान ने कहा कि 6 लाख रुपए लग गए। आप तो कहते हो कि टैक्स एग्जम्प्टेड है, फिर 6 लाख कैसे लग गए। उसे नहीं पता था शायद कि जो मैट है, मिनिमम अल्टरनेटिव टैक्स, वो इम्पोज हो गया था वहाँ। तो इन सारी चीज़ों को संयोग से सिलचर के डॉक्टर साहब आए नहीं, बट उनके जो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है हमारे साथ एयरपोर्ट से आ रहे थे। सिलचर में भी कोने कोने में जाके उदारबंद से लेके पालोन घाट और जो मणिपुर की घटना, वहाँ हम बता रहे थे उन्हें कि आप ऐसे डायरेक्टरशिप सीखो, इस तरह से कंपनी का ऑडिट करो। और फिर कुछ को हमने एक अलग ही लेवल पे प्रोसेसिंग और बाकी के लिए कर दिया है। जीवन में संतुष्टि मिलती है। थैंक यू बेटर इंडिया, थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you, Abhishek ji. Congratulations, aapko ek baar aur. This is the Better India Showcase, brought to you by Optum with a supporting partner in the M3M Foundation. We owe a lot to those who believe in the Better India and in this movement, and for that reason, I'd like to call upon on stage Ms. Uma Ratnam Krishnan once again, the Managing Director of Optum. Ma'am, thank you so much. Please join us once again.
Distinguished guests, inspirational change makers, and fellow citizens, a very good evening. It's both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today at the Better India Showcase 2025, a celebration of courage, creativity, and community. On behalf of Optum India, whose mission is helping people live healthier lives and make the health system work better for everyone, I am proud to welcome you to this extraordinary platform. At Optum India, we are humbled to help bring this showcase to life. This is more than an event. It is a tribute to the indomitable spirit of India, a spirit that finds hope and new pathways even in the most challenging of times. A spirit that chooses action over hesitation, affirmation over ambiguity, becoming a catalyst for clarity, courage, and change, and being co-creators of transformation. Our partnership with the Better India reflects this very ethos. Today, we celebrate change makers whose grassroots interventions are shaping a better tomorrow for our citizens, our communities, and our countries. These are stories of ordinary individuals doing extraordinary things, delivering healthcare to remote villages, bringing hope through education, restoring ecosystem and waterways, harnessing technology to uplift farmers, empowering women to lead transformation, and establishing healthcare in the remotest parts of the country. Each story is a beacon of possibility, showcasing the power of human ingenuity, grit, and determination to challenge status quo and make a real difference. These stories thrive because of the enabling ecosystem around them, one nurtured by innovation and very frugal innovation in India. We're very good with that. But that then drives scalable real-world impact. This ecosystem is further strengthened by the progressive government and social frameworks. As a force for good in India, we at Optum recognize the collective power we hold to create lasting impact in our communities. The change makers we honor today reflect those values. They remind us that transformation does not begin in boardrooms, but in classrooms, in clinics, communities, in our villages and our cities. To truly empower them, all stakeholders must come together to help scale these initiatives. Corporates can play a catalytic role by facilitating collaborative platforms and actually partnering with the NGOs, startups, academia, incubators, and government bodies to co-create solutions. CSR funds are to be used as catalytic capital, not just project implementation, but to seed scalable ideas and build capacity and create long-lasting impact. The real multiplier effect begins with one person, one idea, one act of courage, and grows through strategic support, shared ownership, and community involvement and sustained collaboration. Scaling an idea that has worked in one community can act as a force multiplier. However, scaling is about replicating what works, but responsibly. Localized problem solving and community ownership are key. A one-size-fits-all approach often falls short. Instead, we must co-create with local stakeholders and empower grassroots change makers like those we've seen today, those featured through Better India, who deeply understand their communities. Corporates must help document and share best practices while ensuring these models are actually adapted to local realities, cultural nuances, resource availability, community dynamics. True scale respects diversity and builds on contextual relevance. It is also time to shift from a project-based funding mindset to problem-driven strategies, aligning our CSR efforts with systemic challenges. The need of the hour is to reimagine the CSR as a strategic engine for equity. It is to evolve from transactional giving to transformational partnerships. The movement of change is deeply aligned with the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, a developed India built on the pillars of inclusion, innovation, and self-reliance, where empowered citizens and resilient communities shape their own futures. And it all begins with one person. Big change starts small. One spark of change that, when supported through public and private collaboration, can ignite a multiplier effects across regions and places. By enabling change makers, we bring national aspirations to life, not just in policy, but in practice. Let's celebrate them. Let's learn from them. Let's strengthen them. And let us commit to amplifying their impact. This showcase is a celebration of India's resilience, its ingenuity, and its heart. It is a celebration of a better India, not just as a vision, not just as a slogan, but as a lived reality. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Uma ma'am. Thank you so much for all those insights. This is the Better India Showcase. Thank you so much for being with us. Our next category, the Change Maker of the Year in the Creator for Good category. Sounds a little complicated, but it's people who are creating for the greater good. And again, here I use the TBI line that I like a lot, which is, hope is the biggest headline. I tried to ask ChatGPT if it could give me a better headline, and the very best it could do was, superheroes come wearing capes, change makers often wear chappals. I think I'll give some marks to ChatGPT for that. So without much fuss, I'd like to call up on stage Mr. CVL Srinivas, the country manager of WPP, to talk about this award, which is for the Creator for Good category. Thank you so much, sir. Little round of applause. I know dinner is around the corner, but we can do better. So I'll get a mic to you. Yes.
Thank you, Sonali. Well, I've done a fair number of juries over the last, I would say, many years. I don't think I've ever come away as inspired as I did after the jury for the Better India Showcase. So thank you, Dhiman and Anuradha, for all the great work that you guys are doing, and Naru, my good friend, and all of you and your entire team. It was really fabulous. It was, you won't believe it. For many days after sitting through the jury meet, I kept narrating the stories of the entries that I was fortunate to read with my colleagues in meetings, with my clients, with family members, and it goes on. So it's had a deep impact, and you got a amplifier for life in me. So thank you once again. So coming to this particular award, this is close to my heart. Obviously, being from the media and communication space, it's nice to see that there's an award recognizing people who are creating content for good. Obviously, India is a digital market or mobile-first market. India is also a powerhouse now in creativity and content. There's so much going on with influencers, content creators, and all of that. But behind the scenes, there's this silent movement where a lot of people, ordinary people like you and me, are sitting and creating content which helps move the needle on behavior change, content which brings great stories to the surface. And this is really the category that we are awarding today with this particular award. And in many ways, it's what the Better India themselves have done. So, you kind of obviously embody this. And, it was lovely to see entries from people from different walks of life, like I said. Some of them leaving cushy corporate jobs and then going off the unbeaten track and coming up with great stories. Others, of course, starting off from scratch. So let's take a look at the nominees and then the winner.
Yeah, we'll look at the nominees in just a second, but I also need to invite Kanta Singh. I believe she is here. She is the country representative for UN Women. Kanta ma'am, thank you so much. Round of applause, please. You can make it louder. Thank you so much, ma'am. Mr. Srinivas, if ma'am would like to say a few words, you could just share the mic with her.
Thank you, Sonali. I was telling Anuradha that तुमसे ही दिन होता है, तुम सुरमई शाम आती है. The stories that we read every morning and before going to sleep are really keeping us going every day. Amazing work, both of you, and congratulations to all the winners. बहुत मज़ा आता है पढ़ के. मुझे खासकर क्योंकि शायद उन दिनों बेटर इंडिया होता तो हम भी एस्पायर करते इसके लिए इस तरह के अवार्ड्स के लिए, because I come from where these stories emerge. It's really inspiring to see how young women, farmers' daughters are doing so good in sports, in many other things. I think I'm personally very inspired, and thank you everyone for putting everything together, not today, but every day.
Yeah, and we're sending you a long list of resumes of people who want to work at the Better India, but the nominations now.
Away from a rupees 2 crore Wall Street salary to fight for what's on your plate. This is Revant Himmat Singhka, better known as the food farmer. In 2023, he asked a simple but powerful question. Do you know what you're really feeding your family? Revant saw the gap. We are educated but not health literate. We check expiry dates but ignore the ingredients silently shaping our lives. So he launched a mission. Teach India to read between the lines, to look beyond healthy labels in front and uncover the truth hidden at the back. The pushback was fierce. Legal notices, pressure from giants, but the movement was unstoppable. His viral truth sparked real change. Brands were forced to listen. Products were reformulated with hidden sugars and additives cut down. And soon, the impact reached our schools. CBSE introduced the sugar board concept, mandating that children must learn to identify sugar in packaged foods. Today, with 5 million plus followers, Revant has built an army of label readers. One voice, armed with truth, rewriting India's health story.
Guys, we can do a lot better. Louder, louder. Please, can we make it a little louder? Yeah, Raven, I'm going to get a mic across to you. Yeah, you can come right here. First, can you turn around and show what's at the back of your T-shirt? Over here, please. He's a walking billboard for his own cause.
This particular T-shirt is an interesting story. So I'm not allowed to take a name of a particular brand. So instead of taking its name, I wear its label. So all the ingredients, sugar and everything else is written clearly here. You can read it later on and you can guess which brand it is. Anyway, so Indians are obsessed with education. All of us, we want to be doctors and engineers. But even though we are obsessed with education, we are unfortunately not health literate. And we don't know enough about calories, sweeteners, food colors that we are putting into our bodies every day. So, which is why I decided my goal is to try to make India health literate. And not just educated, but try to make India health literate. And everything changed the day I decided to take responsibility for this. So we all know Spider-Man's line, with great power comes great responsibility. But I believe in the inverse, that with great responsibility comes great power. And when I decided to take responsibility to make India health literate, to expose the misleading lies against packaged foods, my life changed, and I'm really fortunate to be standing here today. It was not easy. It's still not easy. I've received 8 to 9 legal notices, several crore rupees defamation suits, a 6-month imprisonment charge. It's not been easy at all. But now I have one line for all these brands. If you send me a legal notice, I will get you publicly noticed. You don't create a health revolution without making a few enemies. So, I want to say one more thing, that I am not going to back down. You cannot silence me anymore, and I'm going to continue fighting. The first few times when I got legal notices, I deleted my videos. Now I fight back in the court. And I don't only send lawyers, I try to go myself as well, so that they know that I am not trying to hide behind lawyers. So we've reached millions of people already, and hopefully we will reach millions more, hopefully billions more. And we're not going to stop until health becomes a subject in the Indian school curriculum, just the way mathematics, history, geography is. So we'll try our best to get health in the school curriculum and try to make 140 crore Indians health literate. Thank you so much, Better India, and thank you, everyone.
Revant, one last question. He did a public video saying, I don't know how to pay my bills, because he's a Wharton MBA who left a job at McKinsey and says, I don't know how to pay the bills now. So how's that happening?
No, thankfully there's a lot of supporters. So thankfully, it was a struggle in the beginning for the first 1.5 years. I was relying on my savings for the first 1.5 years, but now it's become slightly better. There's a lot of supporters, so it's been fine.
And you have a good lawyer, I'm sure.
Well, lawyers are quite expensive, though.
Thank you, Revant. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm asking you once more for a little bit more applause. Thank you so much. Congratulations. This is the Better India Showcase, presented by Optum with M3M as the supporting sponsor. We have a panel discussion that will be coming up shortly. So we do have a little bit more talk for you before we get to dinner. So we're going to keep you a little bit longer. But first, I'd also like to invite on stage, I do believe we have the CEO of NITI Aayog with us, Mr. BVR Subramaniam. I think he's here. We heard from the former CEO, and we also have Mr. Subramaniam joining us. Sir, thank you so much. Thank you, sir. You can have it.
Wow, what a mind-blowing place this is.
I mean, seeing the change makers makes you feel humble, make you feel small. And also the realization creeps in that change doesn't begin at the top, it begins at the bottom. And then as I was watching the awardees and also the nominees, I was wondering, why do we go through such a difficult process to select Padma awardees? I see so many future Padma awardees, the wait list is here. And the good thing which has happened in the last decade or so is the government has democratized the Padma awards. And it's real people doing real work who are being awarded. And I think this is the kind of work that actually changes nations. We bureaucrats have this thing somewhere at the back of our mind that we are the people who drive change. I think we need much more humility. And the reality of a country which is so big is that it is the people of India who are the strength of India. It's not our companies, it's not our organization, not our banks, not our others. It's the people of India, 140 crore people living in villages, towns, cities, who make India what it is. They have taken this country 5,000, 10,000 years forward. They'll be taking this country forward for another 5,000, 10,000 years. I think that's very, very important. I didn't know anything about Better India. Let me tell you how I ran into Better India the first time. When you open your Google page on your mobile phone, it throws up randomly some news items, so you start scrolling. Somewhere about 2 years ago, some Better India stories started creeping onto those. Maybe I'm the kind of guy who actually searches for similar type of work. That's why it must be throwing it. And then I got more and more addicted. And when I was not using my phone and using somebody else's phone, I would start actually looking. And it is a good way to start a day. You read one story early in the morning, you wake up, your day is made. Some lady in interior part of India is converting her farm into a homestead. Somebody doing something else in healthcare. Somebody doing, as you saw, a doctor helping remote part of Silchar. That's what it was, Barak Valley. You suddenly say, okay, the world is full of hopeless news. You open the newspaper, it's tariffs, it's wars, it's all kinds of stuff that's going on. Then you realize that's not the world. This is the real world in which people exist. This is the life of most people, actually. I left government, I retired in 22. For 6 months, I was away from everything. And suddenly you realize, oh, for 35 years we have got cut off from the real world. And then you actually reconnected with the real world. And the real world is about people going about their lives normally, doing small things, good things. And I think being a good, friendly neighbor, helping the community around you, I think is ingrained in all of us. And it's even more stronger among Indians. Because this country has grown up as small, isolated villages over centuries. So a village community was always a community. There were actually very little, in terms of differences within that community. They supported each other. They grew up. That's why empires came, empires went. But actually India as a nation stood. And the continuity that is there is because of this strength at the grassroots. And I really admire the work of Better India in terms of what they're doing. Identifying, recognizing. And later on, of course, when I was at NITI Aayog, we have been collaborating with them for the last 1 year or so, thanks to my colleague Devjani, our distinguished fellow there, in actually curating and actually bringing together one type of stories. And the kind of stories we have brought together is because we run a frontier tech hub there. Can we actually look at stories where people have used high technology to make a difference at the grassroots? They've done a wonderful job. And so we have ended up setting up a frontier tech repository in partnership with the Better India. It was actually launched just 3 days ago on Monday by the finance minister and the IT minister. 200 stories of people using frontier technology at the grassroots and delivering impact. I think that's most important. And it's all personal initiative. There is this lady officer somewhere in Tonk in Rajasthan who is using AI for education, improving the outcome levels in mathematics and other subjects. And mind you, she was not using government money. She was using her pocket money to do that. These are the stories that are there. There is somebody else using drones to deliver medicines in interior India. So I think these are the kind of stuff. It's not only about recognition. That particular curation which we did was actually making it a replicable model for others to copy. I think that's the best part. When people see Better India's work, the kind of stories that are being compiled together, you get inspired in two ways. A, you get inspired to do something good yourself. I think that in itself is a good. I may not do the same thing, but it brings out the inherent good in us. And I think all human beings, nobody is black, nobody is white. We are all shades of grey. The question is which part of your black or white is actually pulled out. So it's not the Hyde part, but the Jekyll part which has to come out. And I think that's what Better India. The second is, we've actually tried to make these models replicable. So what is the core element which made that successful? So when I was seeing the doctors work in Barak, I was wondering, okay, what is it? What is the chain of clinics which he has started? What is the door delivery he was looking at and house visits? Because that is important. Step one is actually the people are doing it. Step two is how do you then scale up? Let me tell you, innovation on the scale that happens at the grassroots, where you have crores of people doing something, cannot happen in government. A government is not designed. Government is about process, and process is about uniformity. It can be stifling. It can happen outside. What government is good at is picking it up and then scaling it up, or enabling cross learning. That is what we are going to do. So I'd not like to interfere with the process, the flow of work that is going on here, but I'd like to say there are our Shastras, our Vedas, everybody has talked about and it doesn't matter which religion you believe in. You know, look out for your neighbor, help people around you, look out for the poorest and see what you can do for you, share your own wealth with others. And I think that's ingrained in our psyche. I'll just end with a quote from Swami Vivekananda. You said, you know, that life is short. The vanities of the world are transient. They only live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. It's people like Better India and the people working there who are making India a better place and recognizing the world in its true form. They are the people who are actually living lives. And I think they're making more and more people alive in our country. I wish you all the best. My compliments for this award event for Changemakers. May there be 1 billion Changemakers in India and around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Subramaniam. I hope, sir, I hope we have your permission to use all this material in a promo for the Better India. I think Dhimant and Anuradha can't do better than that. The CEO of NITI Aayog says he's addicted to the news, and he's obviously checked out the news enough to know that the lady from Tonk in Rajasthan is using her own money for this initiative to teach children maths. So thank you so much. Very inspiring words indeed. And like I said, promo material for the Better India. Thank you so much once again. We need a little time to set up for a small discussion that we're going to have, but we want to come down and talk to a few people who may not have had the chance to come on to the, are you taking me where we need to go? Okay. We need the stage to be set up for 2 minutes, but we'd just like to speak to one or two of you who have been over here in some capacity as change makers and have been listening patiently. Yeah. Hello. Hi, sir. You are called Saint Broseph. Can you tell us why?
It was, so Saint Broseph means a friend in your group who's always there to help you out. It was an American slang term used by gamers. So I picked that because my friends used to call me that. And then many years later, that name became a social movement. So that's kind of how it is.
And you're fighting against cybercrime, which is, there isn't a day in the newspapers that we don't see an incident of cybercrime. What are you doing about it? How do you fight against it?
Basically, our fight, I think the way the event began, what was said was that the Better India is all about hope. And our organization's fight is against hopelessness and helplessness. The work I do, the work I started doing on my own was against that feeling of hopelessness. Because what I understood in my, the short time that I've been on this planet for is that that is the worst thing to experience. And I think all the change makers here will agree with me when they go and experience something like that from a village person or from a rural, entrepreneur or anyone in the city who's requiring some help. That helplessness is a feeling that you never want to experience. So the Broseph Foundation and Saint Broseph, these are entities that will always be there for you. It's not just cybercrime, it's everything. Our organization is the one organization where no matter what problem you have in Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad or Chennai, Anything from a missing cat all the way to a murder case, you can come to us and we will do everything to help you out till the last moment. So that's
wow,
how.
that's
what we do.
amazing. Round of applause.
Thank you from Brosef.
And nobody is missed out over here on a citation. Everybody here is a change maker.
Everybody
and
here is a
real-life
Brosef.
hero.
Everybody is a Brosef.
Thank you for
Thank
what
you.
amazing work you're doing. Everything, as he said, ladies and gentlemen, from finding your lost cats to dealing with cybercrime. A round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you from the entire Brosef team. Thank you so much for letting me have this opportunity.
Thank you so much. We're waiting for the stage to be set up, but we have a couple more people. I'm trying to do some spotting. Anybody can help me here? Sorry, I don't recognize you. You might want to introduce yourself. Go ahead.
मैं मित्तल गुजरात से हूँ और नॉमेडिक और डिनोटिफाइड ट्राइब्स के वेलफेयर के लिए काम करते हैं और नॉर्थ गुजरात में वाटर टेबल काफ़ी डाउन चला गया है 1000 से लेके 1200 फीट तक तो वाटर मैनेजमेंट में हम काम करते हैं और ट्री प्लांटेशन का भी हम लोग काम करते हैं तो ये
Very nice, ma'am. Thank you. Can you tell us more?
No, ma'am has done so many interventions all over rural Gujarat. She works with nomadic tribes. She helps them make their lakes replenished. You know, the water tables are so down, the farmers are not able to have any water for their agriculture. They're bringing canals into lakes. They're doing so many interventions. They're helping out so many people. It's just incredible work. Like everybody else here, she's doing so well and she's so humble. You know, that's the best quality about her.
Hallmark of all our change makers. They're very, very humble people. Anybody else that I may have missed out over here? I was told Dr. Tanya was here as well. Do we know if she's here? Can you help me out? Sorry, I'm trying to make my way over to... Oh, hello. Hi, I'm so sorry. Hello. Nice to meet you.
It's very nice to meet you as well. It's very nice to be here.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Tell us a little bit more about what you do. I have just a rough idea. Tell us more.
So I'm a gynecologist in training and I work a lot in sexual health. मैं generally accessible language में young लोगों के लिए India में sexual health पे, period health पे, reproductive health पे content बनाती हूँ and I've been doing it for about 5 years now.
And you're from Oxford?
I did my master's at Oxford and now I'm training as a gynecologist at Max Hospital.
And your
जहाँ से मैं भाग के आ रही हूँ.
your favorite topics on which to educate your viewers, your followers, people in general?
I think period myths का बहुत ज़्यादा problem है इंडिया में. For some reason हम बहुत ज़्यादा एक इतने simple से body process को फालतू के तामझाम में फंसा देते हैं. So I really like to talk about that and I really like to debunk myths around that.
And something nice to say about the Better India? Your favorite
This
stories?
is so fantastic. I'm very excited to be here in a place where stuff like this is celebrated because generally India में creator awards बहुत ही I'm looking for the word. But इस तरह के नहीं होते हैं. On ground impact recognize नहीं करते हैं. And the kind of categories that the Better India has brought forward, highlighting actual real stories of change, it's very fantastic to see and to be here and it's a great honor and privilege. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope all of you have got a chance before you left to get photographs with each other. This is quite a remarkable stage to have so many change makers amongst us. You got a photograph with many people? Look forward to everybody tagging the Better India on their photos. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm trying to, yeah. Yeah. Guys, I think we're all set up. We have a short little panel discussion before we get to the last bit of our Changemaker citations. I'd like to invite on stage Abhishek Jain, Fellow and Director, Green Economy and Impact Innovations. We also have Gigi Matthews, Regional Director, Asia for Australia and Middle East Partnerships for NVU. And we have Narayanan Radhakrishnan, the CEO of the Better India. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes. Yeah, and Narayanan, I believe, is moderating the panel, so it's over to him. Yeah, and our knowledge partner for this part of the evening is the Energy, Environment and Water in association with the Rain Matter Foundation. Thank you guys, it's over to you.
Good evening, everybody. I feel really privileged to host this discussion with two of the brightest minds who've been on a mission mode on this whole, transition to green economy. I've known Abhishek for some time in various other capacities, so I know the kind of work that CEW does. I got to know, Gigi in the last couple of weeks. I'm really delighted to have both of you here. So the question for me before we start this session is, hey, why are we doing this here? Okay, so I thought let me just first address that. Now everyone knows that, BVRG also just said that, the real transformation happens at the grassroots level. So is the case with this transition to green economy as well. The success of it is going to be driven by a bottoms-up approach. Okay, that's a given. And the measure of success is going to be the adoption at the grassroots. Okay, and in both of these, the role of change makers becomes very, very critical. And today is all about celebration of change makers, and hence we thought this platform is absolutely apt for us to talk about this and use this platform to take this message across to millions. Okay. And what we thought we will do in today's session, because it is going to talk to a lot of people far and wide, we will focus on three important aspects of transition to green economy. The first important thing to me is about, setting the narrative. Okay, today there's quite a bit that's been spoken about. What is the right narrative is something that we will talk about. The second thing is leading from the narratives, and hence what is the opportunity and what truly is the growth story behind this is the second thing that we will talk about. And the third thing is, do we really have an ecosystem that supports this growth? Okay. Broadly, we will talk about these three things, and I'll start with the first one, which is about building the narrative. Okay. And I'm going to go to Abhishek, and I have this question for you, Abhishek, which is, today when you talk about green economy, okay, all narrative centers around climate change, vulnerabilities, a lot of despair kind of a conversation. Now, in this context, if I look at the work that CEW does, your approach to the whole thing is very opportunity-led, very optimistic, like a breath of fresh air. Okay. Why do you think that is important in this context? Okay, something that I would like to start with.
Thank you, Naru, and really a pleasure to be here. I think, as you said, there's a lot of talk about the doom and gloom which is happening, and this is also not unreal. I mean, we are actually seeing cloudbursts, this, that happening every other day. But at the same time, if you look at the opportunity that exists in making a lot of things possible in a different way, a way which we have not done so far, which is green. And if you talk to someone in the grassroots, today they are not going to act on this because it is environment. They are looking for a job. They are looking for economic opportunity. In a country like India, you cannot have climate agenda as an environmental agenda. How do you make it relevant for people today and future? That's where the green economy framing comes in. It is a framing, just like Better India, it's a framing of hope. Right? It's a framing, but not a distant hope, of hope which you can actually realize today. It's a framing which talks about the jobs that you can create, the economic opportunity that exists, and not just to tap into it today, but in a world which is by default going to be green. When we are saying that, okay, a lot of countries making 2050 net zero commitment, 2070 net zero commitment, India has made, which means that everything across us would become green. So why not tap into that opportunity today and start making our economy more relevant, more future ready from today itself? I think that's the first thing. The second thing about green is broadening the imagination of green. When we think of green, today we think a lot more about, let's say, solar panels, electric vehicles, wind turbines. While all of that is important, renewable energy is super important, but that's not going to deliver us the jobs that we need at scale. India adds 8 to 10 million people in its working age population every month. That's the pace at which we need to create jobs. But by broadening this imagination of green, think about materials, right from construction industry to plastics to packaging. There is so much possible to transition towards green. And all of these have alternatives today, whether it is from the bio origin, whether it is from the circularity side. And that's where bioeconomy, circular economy gives us so much opportunity to actually tap into a huge untapped sector, both in terms of jobs as well as economic opportunity. Let me stop there.
Lovely. I really liked your phraseology of broadening the imagination in this context. It's really lovely. I mean, it triggers a lot of thought, and we'll come to that a little later. Yeah, I'm going to look at you and ask you a slightly different question, okay? Again, looking at the work that you do, which is primarily to build ventures, which gets successful ventures in this, green economy, and that also requires you working with multiple stakeholders, and each one of them come with their own narratives and objectives. Is there a North Star of sorts, okay, that can form the basis for binding all of these people together? Or is there any other thought that you would have in the context of, building this narrative?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me here. So first, let me tell you through the lens of NView and green economy, right? For us, it's the everyday. So we see waste workers going from invisible to becoming recognized entrepreneurs. We see waste that otherwise, or like end-of-life linen from hotels, which go into landfills, now going through one of our ventures to be recycled. Second Spin has 35 hotels on board and has prevented about 45,000 kgs of waste from landfills. We see low-quality post-consumer waste made into or transformed into high-quality commercial felt through the Good Felt, one of our ventures, who's now looking at creating new materials and also dignified jobs. Now, the success of all this is not possible if we didn't have the ecosystem here with us, right, to answer your question. So it's about where, hotels come on board as reliable partners. Municipalities come on board to make sure that sorting and collection happens. Brands come on board committed to buy the output of recycled materials. There's narratives like Better India, which could change the story of waste being crisis to waste being value. So the success within our job lies within actually orchestrating all this. And that, I think, is very important because there's one part, right, about green economy. I believe the real promise of green economy is that it can actually touch people's lives directly. It's in the garment they wear, the air they breathe, or while doing meaningful work. But all that is enabled within the ecosystem that we built.
Great. Okay. Clearly takeout is that, moving away from this green being a cost to green being a catalyst, okay? And, and it can be kind of interpreted in multiple ways based on the stakeholders that you're talking to, is the sense I'm getting from what you're saying. And in that context, if I were to move to a slightly, the next part of the conversation, which is about, can this truly be a India growth story, okay? And widening the aperture, quite a bit. So from that point, I'd like to know, Abhishek, what makes you think that this can become an India growth story? And in that context, what are all the actors and sectors it could potentially touch is something that, will be interesting to hear from you.
Yeah, I think the reason why I personally very deeply believe that this can be an India growth story is because if you look at the numbers as they are stacking up, as we have been looking at many of the opportunities, like Gigi talked about a couple of examples, we looked at 40 such sectors, whether it is in seaweed-based cultivation for nutraceutical applications to bioplastics to biofuel, whether it is crop residue being used for replacement of your gypsum boards in the buildings, to very many. And as you look at these opportunities, you start counting, okay, how many jobs can it create? How many economic opportunities can it create in terms of additional GDP for the country? And we were amazed that when we looked at about even just 27 of them in a small state in India, Odisha, that in next 5 years, it can actually create 1 million jobs in one single state. It can add 20% additional to the state GDP. Now, a state which has been deeply involved in primary sectors, they're looking to diversify, they're looking to arrest out migration from the state. This is a huge opportunity. You are creating jobs where people are, rather than far away in the cities. And then, as you look at not just the numbers, but also what is possible behind the numbers in terms of real lives getting changed, this is not something where only large corporates can play. This is also something where FPOs can play. Because a lot of the feedstock actually exists in the rural areas. And we do know in this country we need to reduce the dependence on agriculture for livelihood. We need to diversify agriculture incomes. We can do allied activities, but there is a lot more that is possible with that agri-residue, a lot more possible with agroforestry, a lot more possible in coastal areas with seaweed. Can we tap into all of those opportunities to create additional income sources, new income sources which are going to be resilient and relevant for the future? Same goes for urban poor. Circular economy would involve a lot of urban poor. But today, they are being involved in a very informal fashion. The wages are low. Can we reimagine that, whether it is for construction and demolition waste, whether it is for e-waste, whether it is for wastewater, whether it is for municipal solid waste, whether it's for plastic circularity? I can go on and on. But these are the sectors which are actually giving you an opportunity to create inclusive growth in the country, where jobs can be created across the board. MSMEs have a huge role to play. FPOs have a huge role to play. SHGs have a huge role to play. And large corporates also have a huge role to play. It's not about excluding one or the other. But you can imagine a far more inclusive economic activity happening on back of this. That's what gives me hope that this can be a significant engine of growth for Indian economy. And very soon, I think just in a couple of months, we'll have India-level numbers, the kind of jobs we can create. There are going to be upwards of 50 million jobs in India, which can be created on the back of green economy.
Wow, great. You talked about, you look at things from the point of view of how it touches everyday life, right? Now, we talk so much about circular economy, and I'm going to ask you a question. Like, for example, I grew up at a time in my neighborhood. There are all these repair shops, the jugaad shops. You go just take your mixie, you give it to them, you repair it 10 times, it comes back to life every time you go, okay? Now, what has happened is at a large industrial level, things are changing. Now, you have the composite engines, okay? You have specialized tools to open. You have closed circuitry. Now, my understanding of circular economy is that this is what industry is, where it's going. And this is a commoner's understanding of what it is. Is that the right understanding, or is there a larger meaning for circular economy than this narrow view that a commoner has?
So, I used to think the way you used to think, right? Circular economy, in fact, when 5 or 6 years back, when I was talking about circular economy at a conference, someone told me I was way ahead of the curve. And today, if you're not in it, you're completely left behind. I think the whole concept of circular economy, or for easy to say circularity, right, is thinking about a world without waste, or rather where waste can bring value. There's no end of life to anything. But at the same time, doesn't mean that just because there's recycling options, you can keep production, because either way, waste is going to keep going. So I think, I hope it is a complicated thought, and I also hope it's a simple thought, right? Because there's two ways to work at it. Like if you look at NView and what we do, so we are a foundation, so we build viable supply chains where waste can become value, where brands can become reliable partners, and where dignified jobs and livelihoods can come into place. And this whole thing, because our major program in India is about circularity and textile waste. Now, all this is within the explanation of circular economy. So it's also as easy as that, and also as complicated as, hey, there was a story I heard that, we talk about recycled PET bottles. So there's production of plastics at, huge scale because we need to recycle them. So it's as easy and as complicated as that, but it needs to be in your everyday. At least for NView, we look at it through system lens. It's about creating a new system. It's about creating markets, linking the existing ones so that grassroots actors can benefit from it, and all within the world of circularity.
So let's now shift gears, okay? From narratives, opportunities, let's look at real things. You know, what is going to make it real, okay? And there comes this whole aspect of what is the support ecosystem, and I'm going to start with you first, okay? Now again, going back, if today you talk about support, not just in the context of green economy, in any context, everything points at the capital world, okay? That's the, you know, because it's the easiest thing to tap. May not be available, that's a different issue, but simple thing to tap. So what do you think is the state of, you know, support infrastructure for this transition in the country? Okay, something that you'd like to know, because you've been at it for such a long time. So it'd be good to hear your perspective on that.
Yes, NView is a 20-year-old company doing this. So like I was telling you, we learned with our failures, with our successes, but when it comes to the support system or how we build these world-changing companies, we cannot do it alone. So for green economy, that way to thrive, it's about ecosystems and not something that we can do in silos. Just giving you an example within our textile program and some of our solutions like Second Spin, which recycles hotel linens, or the Good Felt, making commercial felt from low-cost post-consumer waste. The success of it is not possible just by capital alone. Policy has to give direction. Like I was telling you, municipalities have to start the whole creation of collection and sorting of waste, because that is the new livelihood and the new dignified job sectors that are coming up. There are brands and manufacturers who have to, like I was mentioning, pick up these recycled outputs, right? And there's this whole aspect of, you know, waste workers becoming micro-entrepreneurs. Who can enable it? There is the fact also about funders and investors being able to fund these new business models, some things they've never heard before. So it's about, we have it all, but it's about orchestrating it and putting it together. That's where the real success of this will lie. And the other important thing is whatever we have has to be at scale. It cannot be just always in pilot form. So that's something that I would like to end with.
Abhishek, you want to weigh in? Particularly the aspect of scale that she talked about, the challenges of diversity and scale in the country.
Yeah, I think I just want to touch upon that. Like, I mean, we celebrated a lot of change makers today, right? But those are individual success stories, individual change-making stories. How do you take it from individual success to a success of the entire sector in the space? And when we talked about like all these new emerging sectors, like 40 sectors, if these sectors have to build, this is not about one entrepreneur at a time, but entire sectors to be built one at a time, right? And that, just like in India 20 years ago, enterprise incubation was a relatively new phenomenon. People did not understand what an incubator is, what an accelerator is. I think today we are talking about sector building as that phenomena, or ecosystem building as that phenomena. We need ecosystem level incubators, not just enterprise level incubators. So that the next time, as Mr. Subramaniam said, those billion change makers are not just individual, but they are the collectives. They are representing huge change of one sector or the other. Right? So that does need a kind of a playbook, the way we used it for enterprise incubation, to brought it that to ecosystem level. And that's where, as Gigi mentioned, navigating the policy, navigating the market demand, navigating the financiers, navigating the investors. Each individual enterprise will struggle with common challenges. Can we solve them at scale so that we also scale up much faster?
Great, okay. So I have one question before we conclude this session to each of you. If you were to give a closing remarks, which is going to leave all of us on a high note, okay, what should be each one of your closing remarks? Let's start with you first, Gigi.
So I'd like to say this, you know, in India, there's no shortage of solutions, innovations, inventions, people like you and me, change makers. There's no shortage of that. So the main challenge is in the orchestration of everything. So if we can, you know, really manage this orchestration and, you know, into our transition into a mightier green economy, India just won't participate in green economy. It will lead it. So that's my closing statement.
Yeah, actually, just where Gigi left, right? As I was thinking about this, to my mind, I think this is once in a lifetime opportunity for India to capture this opportunity that exists out there. It can be not just an India growth story engine, engine story, but also something which India can actually showcase to the rest of the world in terms of competitive advantage as well. Not just, okay, here is how to replicate, but I think in many of these green sectors, right now the entire world is waking up to it. If we can move faster, we would be able to capture a lot of the competitive market out there for many of these sectors. So in many ways, this is like one of those opportunities which we should really double down upon.
Lovely. If I were to, say this, to me, everything about our life will change if green economy becomes real, okay? Everything, okay, is going to change. But the beauty of this is the only change which is going to be fair, just and equitable, okay? Every other economic change that we've seen so far has not been as fair, as just, and as equitable it can be. But this is the only one that is likely to be fair, just, and equitable. So on that high note, thank you so much, both of you. Thank you for coming all the way from Bangalore. Abhishek, thank you for finding time. Lovely talking to you all.
Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. Our changemakers today have spent a lifetime creating this change. Bear with us for a little longer. We've got a lovely dinner for you guys. Apparently, it's from all parts of the country. Everything from chicken kolhapuri to Bengali fish curry to a millets counter. I'm trying to entice you. Just be patient. We're clearing the stage. Thank you so much again, guys. You're watching the Better India Showcase presented by Optum and supported by M3M Foundation. And they will be here shortly to announce a very special initiative. Also like to take the opportunity to say thank you to Stuti and Anu, who have worked tirelessly, our ISL experts. Thank you so much, Stuti and Anu. Very, very kind of you. Okay, on to our next category. We've just got 2 or 3 of them, so please bear with us. This is the education change maker. So a small little joke. Teacher-student jokes are, quite the thing. So the teacher asked the students, how many letters in the English alphabet? And what does the smart alecky student say? 23 without GST, but 26 with GST. You can laugh, you're allowed to laugh, but I don't know the calculation, by the way. I don't know whether that's 28% or 18%. My math ain't that good. But whether we know our math or not, we do know that education is the biggest, it's the biggest opportunity that anybody can give in India, and therefore this category is really, really important. So I'd like to call upon stage Shankar Venkateshwaran for this category. He's the co-founder and managing partner of Sustainability Integration at eCube Investment Advisors Private Limited. I think I've got most of that right, but I'm waiting to see where Shankaran is. I'd just like to announce, I'm just waiting to see if Mr. Shankaran Venkateshwaran is with us. Okay, he's coming in. I've also been told to announce that a red iPhone has been found on the table. Is anybody missing a red iPhone? If there are no claimants, it's mine. No, I'm joking. It'll be offered as a prize. Anybody missing a red iPhone, please contact somebody at the console if you're missing an iPhone. Thank you. Thank you, Sangeeta. Sir, this way, please, sir. Yeah. Mr. Shankar Venkateshwaran, thank you so much, sir. Co-founder and managing partner, Sustainability Integration, eCube Investment Advisors Private Limited. I think I've got that right. Sir, you can take it away and announce the nominees. Oh, you just have to announce them. It'll all play out on the stage. But you can talk to us if you'd like to about the Better India, about Changemakers.
Okay, so this one has caught me a bit by surprise. So I'm not very good at extempore, but I'm of course, like everyone else, delighted to be here. I've had a long association with the Better India. I had the privilege of being on the board for several years and enjoying lovely conversations with colleagues and great food at board meetings, I have to say. And I'm waiting for that to happen just now. But I think this whole event has been delightful. I think the richness of the nominations is very evident. And I think, I just hope we keep doing this and never stop doing these kinds of shows again. But let me not keep you away from the nominations.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. The nominees, please, for the Education Changemaker.
Millions of children face adversity that scars their potential. Violence, neglect, poverty, abandonment. These adverse childhood experiences don't just hurt, they hijack futures. But what if adversity could be overcome? 25 years ago, Vishal Talreja and 11 co-founders asked this question. Their answer became, dream a dream. The journey began with life skills, sports, arts, theatre, music. Children learned teamwork, resilience, problem solving. Then came a bigger realization. Education itself needed reimagining. Not just what children learn, but why they learn. Success needed redefining. Beyond grades, beyond jobs. Towards something deeper, thriving. Today, the vision is clear. A thriving life for every child. The impact speaks volumes. Nearly 2.2 million children transformed. Thousands of educators equipped, over 7 state governments adopting the model. From vulnerable to victorious. Children who once faced trauma now lead teams. Young people who survived adversity now inspire others. This is more than education. This is human potential unleashed. Dream a dream. Because every child deserves not just to survive, but to thrive.
Thank you, Vishal. Please come up, sir. You can go to the middle. Congratulations, Vishal. Commendable work, bringing together sports, arts, theatre. Can I please request everybody in the audience to please be seated just a little longer. I think we've got just about 5 more minutes to go. Please be seated. And yes, you can clap, please.
Okay, I wasn't expecting this. I would like to start off by thanking the Better India for creating this platform. Also thank my other co-nominees and acknowledge them, Ananya Paul Dodmani, Tolkapian Sivaraj, Abhijit Barse, who's also a good friend, and Biswanath Naru. Standing here today, I feel a gush of gratitude, humility, and more than disbelief. I was 21 years old when the idea of Dream a Dream came about 25 years ago. We didn't have a vision, we just had a question. The question was, why are children growing up in adversity not living a life of dignity? The question was, when I stood at a traffic stop, when a child came up to me and asked for money, why did I ignore the child? Why did I look away? Why didn't I have the courage to look at the child in the eye and acknowledge that you are human, you are whole?
It was that moment when I realized that the work, my life's purpose, is going to be about bringing dignity into the life of every child. It hasn't been an easy journey. We've failed, we've stumbled, we've risen again. While Dream as an organization has thrived over these last 25 years, as you have seen, impacting 2.2 million children across 7 states, it has only been possible because we've been held together by team members, by young people, by mentors who believed that every child deserves a life of thriving. I think back today at one of the young people that I met very early on in the Dream journey, Manoj. He was 11 years old, didn't go to school, hung out at our office. In the neighborhood, he was known and popular as a local thief, 11-year-old kid. But he never stole anything from our office. Unfortunately, due to circumstances around him, he once stole a bike, got into an accident and passed away. This was way back in 2005. And the question I asked myself was, whose fault was it? Was it my fault that I didn't take care of him? Was it his family that couldn't provide for him? Was it the school system that rejected him? Was it the community that labeled him to be a thief? Or was it we as a society that have created these deep inequities that we are not able to engage with a young person like Manoj with love, care, and empathy? And I'm still searching for that answer. Because there are millions of young people like Manoj every year still looking for spaces where they can be treated with love, care, and dignity. Which is what led us to the vision that we live in today. For every child, a thriving life. The onus of the responsibility is moving from fixing the child, empowering the child, to looking inwards of who are we? How are we as a society showing up for the child? How are we breaking our own prejudices, our own biases, our own preconceived notions about children from different communities based on their gender, based on their religion, based on their caste. The work is actually ours, it's not the child's. And my invitation to you, as I bring this to a close today, is as you walk away from this room, the one question I hope you will go away with is, how am I showing up in the world? How am I creating a world for the next 7 generations? How am I showing up for a child that believes that this world, this life, this society is worth living in and worth thriving in? Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You might want to pick up the citation. A red phone is missing or a red phone has been found? I'm confused. A red phone is still missing, ladies and gentlemen, or it's been found? And we're looking for the owner? We have a red phone that is missing its owner, and it's going to go into the kitty for a prize. Anyway, on to the next category, which is the social change maker. And to tell us more about the nominees and indeed his own courageous journey, we have the founder of Goonj, Mr. Anshu Gupta, a Magsaysay Award winner. And without much fuss, I'd like to call him up on stage. Please, Anshu, we want to hear from you and the winner in the social change maker category.
Very nice to see कि ये हम celebrate कर रहे हैं. I mean, change making is a tough work, and social change making is actually tougher. I always remind people कि देखिए A whole lot of other businesses try to look for a happy customer to sell your services or to sell your products. We are in the business, we are in the work of looking for people in grief. I'm just coming back from Punjab, and before this, last week I was in Imphal. I mean, all of us who are sitting here are just looking for people in grief, and it's complicated, it's tough. और उसमें फिर आप एंटर कर जाते हैं ज़ीरो कैपिटल के साथ में, और एक इंस्टीट्यूशन का सपना देखते हैं, एक इंस्टीट्यूशन खड़ा करते हैं और उसमें काम करते हैं. मैं बहुत सारे लोगों को, I mean, you know, these are some lines which I had written for the people in this social change making sector. और ये, this is a story of compassion and scale, just in few lines, which says कि अगर नींद से प्यारा है सपना और ज़िद के साथ ले सकते हो जोखिम, तो ये जगह तुम्हारी है. अगर नहीं चाहते आग लगाना और चिंगारी है एक मकसद, तो ये जगह तुम्हारी है. और तीसरा जो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है, विच इज़ अबाउट कंपैशन एंड स्केल, कि अगर भूख लगे और याद आए भूखा और प्यास पर तालाब एक सूखा, तो ये जगह तुम्हारी है. और सोशल चेंज मेकर की बहुत सारी डेफिनेशंस हैं. मेरी डेफिनेशंस आजकल थोड़ी अलग जा रही हैं, एंड आई लैंड विद दैट बिफोर वी सी द नॉमिनेशन. मैं अक्सर सोचता हूँ कि एआई के ज़माने में जिनका आज भी एचआई पर भरोसा है, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एंड ह्यूमन इंटेलिजेंस, तो एआई के ज़माने में जिनका आज भी ह्यूमन इंटेलिजेंस पे भरोसा है, वो सोशल चेंज मेकर्स हैं. थैंक यू वेरी मच. लुक अप टू दी नॉमिनेशन सर.
She dreamed of becoming an IS officer. Instead, she became a hero to 7.5 lakh people. This is Mittal Patel. While preparing for UPSC, she stumbled upon a community living on sugarcane fields, families under blue plastic sheets. That night, she witnessed horror. A woman abducted, a child flung into thorny bushes. By morning, it was as if nothing had happened. No police, no justice, forgotten. That night changed everything. Mittal discovered these were denotified tribes, labelled criminal by the British in 1871. A stigma that stuck for generations, condemning over 12 to 15% of India's total population to invisibility. In Gujarat alone, their population is estimated to be around 6 million. One mother told her, "I haven't eaten in days. How will I feed my child?" Mittal put aside her IAS dream and started Vicharta Samuday Samarthan Manch. Her mission? Not charity, identity. She listened, she organized, she fought. For a name, an address, a vote. And the invisible became visible. Her work has secured voter IDs, ration cards and dignity for over 7.5 lakh people. She ran 10 schools and established 2 hostels that is providing shelter and education to around 600 children at present. She made 12,000 families self-reliant with interest-free loans. Apart from this, with her support, 1,800 houses have been built, giving a permanent address to families who had wandered for centuries. She has created 280 village forests nurturing over 18 lakh trees and revived 380 lakes, healing both land and lives. Mittal may not hold a title, but she has built a legacy, restoring dignity to an entire people.
Little louder, please. Thank you. Congratulations, Mittal. Please, can we have the citation? मैंने आपको पहले इंटरव्यू करा और मुझे पता ही नहीं था कि आप विनर हैं. सॉरी, बहुत बहुत सॉरी इसके लिए.
थैंक यू बेटर इंडिया। टाइम बहुत हो गया है, पर जिनकी मैं बात कर रही हूँ, जिनके साथ मैं काम करती हूँ, शायद उसकी बात करने के लिए मेरे लिए ये बड़ा प्लेटफॉर्म है। ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लूँगी, पर बेटर इंडिया कहानियाँ बताता है। मुझे कहानी बतानी है इस कम्युनिटी के बारे में और आइडेंटिटी का क्या मसला है उसकी। आइडेंटिटी, हमारे पास तो सब कुछ है, पासपोर्ट है, लाइसेंस है, वोटर कार्ड, सब चीज़ें हमारे पास है। जब नॉमेडिक कम्युनिटी के बीच में मैं घूम रही थी और जब मैंने उनको पूछा कि आपको क्या चाहिए, किसी ने मेरे पास गाड़ी बंगला नहीं मांगा, सबने बोला एक फ़ोटो वाला कार्ड चाहिए। बहुत ही ताज्जुब हुआ, फ़ोटो वाला कार्ड क्यों चाहिए और ये क्यों मांग रहे हैं। पर प्रॉब्लम था, जहाँ पे इनकी सेटलमेंट होती है वहाँ आसपास में कोई भी क्राइम होता है तो पुलिस पहले वहाँ पे पहुँच जाती है और इनको पकड़ के ले जाती है। मित्तल के पास मित्तल हूँ ऐसा कोई पूरा मतलब प्रूफ मैं नहीं कर पाती हूँ, तो शीतल के नाम से मेरे नाम में कोई भी क्राइम उस पर बिठाया जाता था, इसलिए शायद इनको ये वोटर आईडी कार्ड चाहिए था। बहुत बड़ा काम। और सबसे दुखद और दिक्कत वाली बात यह है कि घूमते रहने के कारण पूरे भारत में ये अदृश्यमान लोग हैं। हम लोग गुजराती में उनको सरनामा विनाना मानवियो, बिना एड्रेस वाले लोग बोलते हैं। ये दृश्यमान है, हम सब देखते हैं, पर फिर भी ये अदृश्य है। इसके लिए शायद आज़ादी के इतने सालों के बाद भी इनके लिए कोई नक्कर पॉलिसी सरकार की नहीं थी। 2019 में फर्स्ट टाइम हमने कोशिश की और नेशनल लेवल पे एक वेलफेयर बोर्ड इस कम्युनिटी के लिए बना। कुछ पॉलिसी हुई है, पर मैं यहाँ से ये बताना चाहूँगी कि सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा इस कम्युनिटी का है वो है स्वीकार का। सोसाइटी उनको स्वीकार नहीं करती क्योंकि ये नॉमैड्स है, कहाँ से आए हैं तो इनका कोई नेटिव नहीं है। तो हमेशा से ये रहता है कि आप मेरे गांव के नहीं हो, इसलिए आपको यहाँ घर नहीं मिलेगा, वोटर कार्ड नहीं मिलेगा, राशन कार्ड नहीं मिलेगा। वसुदेव कुटुंब की हम लोग बात करते हैं, पर मैं हमेशा बोलती हूँ कि हम बहुत ही दोगली प्रजा है। बोलने में हम वसुदेव कुटुंबकम बोलते हैं, पर स्वीकार करने की बात आती है तो हम इनको स्वीकार नहीं करते हैं। ये सबसे बड़ा मसला है इस कम्युनिटी के लिए। और पूरे भारत में बहुत ही कम लोग हैं जो इस कम्युनिटी के साथ काम करते हैं। और पॉपुलेशन आप देखिए 12 to 15%, छोटा अमाउंट नहीं है, बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है। बट फिर भी शायद हम जैसे लोग इतना इनके बारे में बोलते नहीं है। मैं बेटर इंडिया को ये अवार्ड के लिए तो बिल्कुल धन्यवाद करूंगी, पर मैं चाहती हूँ कि दूर दराज में जाके ये कम्युनिटी क्या फेस कर रही है, क्या प्रॉब्लम उनको हो रहे हैं, उनके बारे में अगर हम ज़्यादा लिखेंगे तो हो सकता है इनके बारे में ज़्यादा बजट, ज़्यादा स्कीम इस कम्युनिटी के लिए बने। वो आज की सबसे बड़ी ज़रूरत है। और सोसाइटी के लिए लास्टली एक चीज़ बताना चाहूँगी, इंक्लूजन सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा है नॉमैड्स के लिए। गांव स्वीकारता नहीं है, कोई भी उनके एक वोटर कार्ड बनाना है, आप मानो कोई गांव के ही नहीं आप हो, कैसे बनाओगे आप अपना वोटर कार्ड, कैसे मिलेगा आपको राशन कार्ड, बहुत दिक्कत है। और गांव में पता नहीं, मुझे बहुत ये समझ में नहीं आता था कि 5-10 फैमिली अगर मेरे गांव में बस जाते हैं तो गांव की जियोग्राफी कैसे चेंज हो जाएगी। बट एक धुतकार है इस कम्युनिटी के लिए, सब लोगों को। इसीलिए वाटर मैनेजमेंट और ट्री प्लांटेशन, वैसे नॉर्थ गुजरात में वाटर टेबल काफ़ी डेंजर सिचुएशन में 1000-1200 फुट तक चला गया है, तो पानी हमने जरिया के तौर पर उसको यूज़ किया और पानी के जरिए हम लोगों से बात करना शुरू किए कि ये हमारे लोग हैं। अगर हम वसुदेव कुटुंबकम की बात करते हैं तो इनको हमारे यहाँ पे स्वीकार करना पड़ेगा, गांव में बसाना पड़ेगा। आज कुछ चेंज हुए हैं, काफ़ी सारी सेटलमेंट स्कीम वगैरह बना है, पर पूरा भारत बाकी है। कुछ हुआ है। मैं बार बार एक ही चीज़ इसीलिए बोल रही हूँ क्योंकि यहाँ पे बहुत सारे स्टेक होल्डर है, इवन चेंज मेकर, अलग अलग सेक्टर में काम करने वाले लोग भी है। मैं बहुत दुख के साथ ये बताना चाहती हूँ कि ये पूरी बस्ती, ये कम्युनिटी हमसे छूट गई है। तो मैं एक रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि हम जो सेक्टर में काम करें, क्या हम इनका इंक्लूजन अपने काम में कर सकते हैं। अगर ये हो पाता है तो मैं मानती हूँ कि ये बहुत बड़ी, यहाँ पे मैं अवार्ड लेने के लिए इसीलिए जाती हूँ कि मैं इनके बारे में ज़्यादा बात कर पाऊँ और इनका इंक्लूजन होता है तो मैं मानती हूँ कि मेरे लिए सबसे बड़ी बात है। क्योंकि 17 साल से यही एक दिक्कत रही है कि इनका स्वीकार करो। आज 500 करोड़ रुपया सरकार ने मान लो कि सेंट्रल से अनाउंस कर दिया, आप
पर हेड गिनो कितना पैसा आता है, 75 पैसा, 1 रुपया भी नहीं आता है। तो कौन बोलेगा इनके बारे में? एक मित्तल नहीं चाहिए, हजारों मित्तल खड़ी होनी चाहिए, हजारों कॉरपोरेट्स आने चाहिए इनके बारे में बात करने के लिए, क्योंकि इनमें से एक भी बहुत कम होंगे जो पढ़े लिखे अपने बारे में, अपनी कम्युनिटी के बारे में बात करने के लिए खड़े होंगे। बाबा साहब आए, आज शेड्यूल कास्ट, शेड्यूल ट्राइब, पिछड़े वर्गों की बात हुई, पर उनको जहाँ पे बेनिफिट मिला है, मैं मानती हूँ ये समुदायों को वहाँ पे पहुँचने में और 50 साल लगेंगे, और हम कितना वेट करेंगे ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आता है। सॉरी, ये मैंने क्योंकि ये सारे मेरे लोग हैं और मैं उनकी हूँ, तो जो भी प्लेटफॉर्म मिलता है वहाँ पे ये चीज़ बताना मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी लगा। थैंक यू बेटर इंडिया ये प्लेटफॉर्म देने के लिए। थैंक यू।
थैंक यू मित्तल। आपने जो बोला, बहुत सारे मित्तल की ज़रूरत है इस काम को पूरा करने के लिए, सबको एक पहचान देने के लिए, आधार कार्ड, राशन कार्ड। Last award category is actually the most important. I think Mr. Amitabh Kant wrote about this a few days ago, saying the biggest challenges that India are going to face, or 2 out of the 5 biggest challenges that he mentioned recently related to water. He said it's going to be about treating sewage and providing clean water to most people in India. So therefore, for the Water Warrior category, I'd like to call on stage Mr. Ganesh K, the Director Sustainability and Public Affairs at Bisleri International. Sir, please join us to tell us more about this award and the nominees. And a request to all the winners that we want to have you on stage up next. Ganesh, sir, over to you. Just hand over a mic to him.
Good evening, everyone. Water makes life possible. Conserving it is a fundamental of shared future. At the very outset, I want to thank Better India for bringing focus to these issues and shining a light on the change makers, offering real solutions. It's my privilege to be here tonight to celebrate the water warriors, the organizations and individuals who work tirelessly to protect the precious resource water. India has 18% of the world's population, but only 4% global freshwater resource. Every aquifer bears the stress of providing water for millions. While meeting this demand seems impossible, the inspiring stories we see across the country gives us hope. The leaders we celebrate tonight represent a new generation of champions. They remind us that sustainability is not an afterthought, but a strategic imperative, both for communities and businesses. At Bisleri, we are proud to contribute to this journey. Through Project Nai Umeed, we have restored 336 check dams, bringing water security to 280 villages and 65,000 farmers. We have also partnered with Delhi School of Advanced Studies to create a water credit framework, a pioneering system to measure a water trade, linking conservation with value and advanced policies on water stewardship. Tonight, as we honor the water warriors, let us reaffirm our commitments to reduce waste, conserve more, and build resilient communities for tomorrow. I once again thank all the water warrior nominate guests and the Best India for inspiring us. Thank you.
Yeah, we can lead into the nominations, please.
$1,255 parched villages now bloom with life and water. Thanks to one woman, Amla Ruia. In a land where rain is a rare guest, she saw not just a crisis, she saw a forgotten solution. Khadins, simple, low-cost check dams, not giant walls of concrete, but smart, nature-friendly structures that catch the monsoon's fury and gently guide it back into the earth, recharging the very soul of the soil. But Amla knew water alone wasn't enough. People were the other half of the story. So, she asked villagers to contribute on an average 30%, not just money, but stones required for the structure, sweat and ownership. This wasn't charity, it was partnership. The result? A revolution. 814 plus dams, 494 plus ponds, impacting 1,255 villages. The water-nourished earth now yields 3 crops a year and facilitates abundant animal husbandry possibilities. Hand pumps once dry now overflow. Despair has turned into rupees 3,475 crore net annual income for over 18 lakh people. Women no longer walk miles for water. They're building livelihoods. Daughters are going to school. Villages are singing again. Having touched 2 million lives, her trust continues to build 300 dams and ponds every year, ensuring lifetime water security through community ownership. Because when water flows, prosperity follows.
I think Amla Ruia is not available, but we have a recorded message from her, and I believe we also have Amit Arora to accept the award on her behalf, the citation. Can we hear from Amla Ruia, please?
I regret that I am not physically present for this event, but I am extremely honored to have been acknowledged and recognized by your esteemed organization. And with folded hands, I request all those who are present over here to make this cause of water as their own cause, so that our country, instead of being a water deficient country, becomes water surplus as far as our needs on the agricultural as well as industrial front are concerned. Please do the maximum that you can to conserve every drop of water and to do as much rainwater harvesting as you possibly can in urban as well as rural areas. Dhanyavad and Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.
Thank you so much for that recorded message. Ms. Amla Ruia, the Water Warrior Changemaker of the Year. Mr. Ganesh sir, I believe Mr. Amit Arora is here to accept the citation on behalf of Amla ma'am. Please, yeah. Citation, please, yes. Thank you, everybody. You can have a loud round of applause. Amit, congratulations on behalf of Ms. Amla Ruia, who is our Water Warrior Changemaker of the Year. Thank you so much. We're trying to get through this as soon as possible. I need all 9 changemakers, all the representatives to please stay on stage. Can we have everybody, please? I hope nobody's left. All 9 changemakers, please, you can stay on. No, you have to just stay on to Ganesh sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. All 9 changemakers, please, if we still have you, we'd like to have you for a very special announcement by the M3M Foundation. Dr. Aishwarya Mahajan, can I get you back on stage as well, please? Yes, I see Revant. Revant, come. Very exciting announcement by the M3M Foundation. I need a mic for Dr. Aishwarya Mahajan. Can I get a mic? Thank you, all the changemakers, all their representatives. Please, can you join us on the stage? Yes? Vishal, please come. Come. Abhishek ji, aa jaiye, everybody. Yes? We have more? Yes, Sundaram ji, aa jaiye. Aapki bhi wait kar rahe hain. Photos first or announcement first? The exciting announcement first? Dr. Mahajan, yes. Everybody's here? Yes. We have our change makers, but we are missing one.
Okay. So, first of all, I would like to congratulate the Better India team. And I remember my discussion when Sangeeta and Garvita, came, we were having discussion, what can be done? And this idea came, okay, and then where we are today. So now, I was listening to Mittal when Mittal was saying कि अभी बहुत सारे Mittal की ज़रूरत है. And these are the change makers. What they have done is something which inspires many. M3M Foundation, we are working in more than 22 states now. We have reached to 1,000 villages. But our philosophy is very simple. We need to create such change makers in the community. And that's what we have been trying. And we have a program called Mashal. Mashal means a light, a torch. And I'm happy that this platform, today I had a discussion with Better India, that we need to create more change makers, because I think thousands of applications have been received. And out of these 1,000 applications, still there are change makers. हम बात कर रहे थे अभी कि शुरू करने के लिए पैसा नहीं है. हमारे पास में पैशन बहुत है, हमारे पास में जुनून बहुत है, लेकिन जब हम किसको शुरू करना चाहते हैं, तो जहां स्टार्टअप में सीड कैपिटल में तो पैसा डालने के लिए वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट बहुत हैं जो इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, लेकिन सोशल इनोवेशन में मुझे ये कहते हुए बहुत खुशी हो रही है कि M3M Foundation has been doing this through its Mashal program. We have been supporting many change makers on the ground. We have recently done special fellowship for the drive, which is in Delhi Research and Innovation, which is a cluster of principal scientific advisor of the Prime Minister's office. उनके साथ हमने ग्रीन फेलोशिप्स किए हैं, जहां ग्रीन एनर्जी पे, एनवायरमेंटल सस्टेनेबिलिटी पे, वाटर के ऊपर हमने फेलोशिप्स दी हैं जो लोग अच्छा काम करना चाहते हैं, जिनके पास आइडिया तो है लेकिन रिसोर्सेज नहीं है. तो फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर प्लेटफॉर्म टुडे व्हाट आई वांट, ये तो हैं जिन्होंने एक अपना एक मॉडल क्रिएट किया है जो लोगों को इंस्पायर कर रहा है, लेकिन उन हजारों एप्लीकेशंस में ऐसे बहुत हैं जिन्होंने अपने आइडिया को आगे पुश करने की कोशिश की है. मैं नंबर्स पे नहीं जाना चाहता, लेकिन मशाल फेलोशिप हम उन सबके लिए बेटर इंडिया के साथ आज अनाउंस कर रहे हैं कि जिनमें हम 50,000 से लेके 5 लाख रुपए तक की फेलोशिप हम उन इनोवेटर्स को देंगे जो इस तरीके के सोशल इश्यूज पे अभी काम कर रहे हैं, और शायद अगले आने वाले 2 से 3 सालों में वो यहां पर आकर अपना अवार्ड लेने के लिए तैयार हो जाएंगे. तो आई वुड अगेन लाइक टू थैंक ऑल ऑफ यू फॉर इंस्पायरिंग अस, बेटर इंडिया फॉर क्यूरेटिंग सच अ वंडरफुल इवेंट, एंड आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक ऑल द जूरी मेंबर्स जिन्होंने इतना एफर्ट डाला. मैं उसका पार्ट था, मैंने देखा है कि कितना एफर्ट उसके अंदर गया है. एंड ऑल्सो दी को सपोर्टर्स ऑप्टम, बिस्लेरी और बाकी लोग जिन्होंने इस आइडिया के अंदर बिलीव किया और इसको सपोर्ट किया. तो आपके आसपास जितने भी ऐसे लोग हैं, ऐसे आइडियाज अगर आपके पास हैं, तो निश्चित रूप से उनको आगे लाइए. M3M फाउंडेशन आज इस मंच से हम इसको अनाउंस कर रहे हैं कि ये फेलोशिप उनको दी जाएगी, और जो बची हुई एप्लीकेशंस हैं उनको फिर से देख के हम उनमें से इनको निकालेंगे. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, Dr. Aishwarya. That's very, very nice to hear. We would like the change makers to please stay on for some more photographs, and Anuradha Parekh, I want you to come on, please, for the vote of thanks. Please, some more photographs. आप लोगों की अभी ज़रूरत है. Please don't go anywhere. We need many, many more photos. Anuradha, need you here, please, for the photos. Shall we call Dimant as well for the photographs? Dimant, you can come for the photos as well. Okay. We'll have a little bit more time for the photos. Anuradha, after this one, you're needed to thank everybody and before we go for dinner. More photos. Yeah, please, can the winners just stay on for another couple of minutes? We need few more photos. Anuradha, you're needed here.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, as we close the Better India Showcase, I feel a deep sense of gratitude. We have heard stories that prove one simple truth. Change begins with ordinary people who dare to dream of an extraordinary India. Every change maker we celebrated tonight is living proof that courage and compassion can reshape our nation. They remind us that building a better India is not just the work of governments or institutions. It is the work of each one of us, in our homes, our communities, and in our choices every single day. This evening would not have been possible without the support of so many. A heartfelt thank you to our presenting sponsor, Optum India, and our supporting sponsor, M3M Foundation. Your belief in this vision means the world to us. To our other sponsors, Bisleri International, Parachute Kalpa Vriksha Foundation by Marico, the Council on Energy, Environment and Water, CEEW, and 01 Network by Zerodha. Thank you for powering this celebration of change makers. We're grateful to our radio partners, Red FM, and our gifting partners, Truly Tribal, for adding such a special touch to this showcase. We had the honor of welcoming remarkable leaders as our guests of honor and speakers, Shri BBR Subramaniam, Shri Amitabh Kant, Ms. Uma Ratnam Krishnan, Ms. Devjani Ghosh, and so many more. Your vision, wisdom, and encouragement remind us what's possible when leadership and purpose come together. To our grand jury members who helped us spotlight the most inspiring change makers, and our panelists who enriched the evening with their insights, thank you for your time, your wisdom, and your generosity. A big thank you also to the entire team at Madison Turned, who stood with us in making this event come alive, and to our anchor and dear friend of the Better India, Sonali Chandar, for guiding us so gracefully through the evening. Where is she? And finally, to our team at the Better India, who poured their hearts into every detail. A big round of applause. And to each of you who chose to be here tonight, thank you. Your presence tells us this movement matters. The showcase doesn't end here, it begins here. When you leave tonight, carry these stories with you. Share them, support them, live them, because the future of this country isn't waiting. It's being built right now by people like the ones we celebrated tonight and by people like you. Let's not just witness the better India, let's build it every single day. Thank you and good night, and please, dinner is served. Thank you so much for your patience and for joining us for this celebration tonight. Thank you.